What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto stops the Uchiha Massacre? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. 1 year later, Naruto, now 8, began his daily routine of stalking Uchihas, the clan which possesses the Sharingan. However, that will prove to be an eventful day for both Naruto and the Uchihas. Following an Uchiha member on police patrol for a few hours, Naruto starts to feel bored after finding that most of the Uchiha members are not worthy of his attention after a year of investigation. This person won't last me 3 minutes. I need someone to seriously test me. The past 12 months of holding Uchiha members in great esteem have been seriously dampened with every change of potential target. Too bad the clan's greatest member Itachi Uchiha is in Anbu and not in the military police. If not, Naruto was snapped out from his thoughts when his senses detect a killing intent radiating from the Uchiha compound. The Uchiha member, who Naruto is following, also noticed the killing intent and raced toward the source of it. This chakra signature is quite familiar, but I can't pinpoint who the person is. Naruto then had a brilliant idea and formed a hand seal. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. A Naruto clone popped out and the original Naruto commanded him, henge into an Uchiha member and find out what is going on. The clone henged to an Uchiha member and made his way to the Uchiha compound. 5 minutes later, Naruto found the eerie truth of the incident after the clone was dispelled. Naruto stood dumbfounded after a while before the smart part of brain came crashing into his mind. Naruto's mind. Wake up Naruto. This is not the time to stone. Inform the Hokage at once to get reinforcements. The dumb part of his brain retorted, by the time you get reinforcements, all the Uchiha members will be dead by now. Smart. Stupid, if you use a clone to inform 3rd Hokage and fight Itachi to delay him. Dumb. Yes, it can be done, but are you out of your mind? Fight Itachi of all people. You will probably die. Smart. First thing first, you are in his mind, Baka. Second thing, you are the one wanting to fight Itachi Uchiha and this present a great chance. Dumb. Did I say that? I think so. Okay. I accept your suggestion and let's do it then. Naruto signs with relief after hearing the end of their quarrel. Finally they stopped quarreling. Both of them are so naive. Naruto formed a hand seal and foamed a Kage Bushin. Inform Hokage about it immediately. The clone understood and made his way to the Hokage tower at the fastest speed he can muster. Here goes nothing, said Naruto as he began to make his way to the Uchiha compound for his real test. Uchiha compound. At the Uchiha compound, the clanging of kunai, explosions and moaning for the dead were heard everywhere. At the center of the Uchiha compound, 5 Uchiha members were fighting against a bloodlust ninja bent on killing everyone. Itachi, why are you doing this? We are fellow clan members. The bloodlust ninja replied sinisterly. Clan members? It is the very same clan members who tried to contain my power. With that Itachi then slit their throats in gruesome fashion but suddenly noticed something different. The Uchiha members suddenly poofed into logs, leaving the Uchiha prodigy in doubt. They couldn't have done Kawarimi at that speed? Soon he saw a kunai flung at him and dodged it, returning the flavor with 3 kunai. So it is you, then. A figure in Anbu black undercover robe with a plain mask appeared from nowhere, with his hand holding the 3 kunai. Uchiha Itachi, under the orders of Hokage, I am to either capture or kill you for an attempt to massacre your clan. By the looks of it, you are not Anbu because you are not obeying Anbu protocol. Being an Anbu captain, I guess this is pretty easy to differentiate from the real and fake. And you are not an Uchiha, so why did you come here? I was bored since no one could challenge me, so when I noticed a little rampages going on, I came along to take a look. Before the fake Anbu completed his sentence, Itachi appeared beside him. So, what is the result? Good. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. Itachi dodged out of the way, forming several hand seals and shouted. Kaden. Hosenka no Jutsu. The fake Anbu evaded the attack and flung several kunais with exploding tags at Itachi, who also deflects the kunais easily. I shall bring an end to this. Itachi shouted as he formed several hand seals, which the fake Anbu replied. Are you sure? Look around to see for yourself. Itachi turned to see that all the kunais with exploding tags that he deflected are around him. Damn it, Kai. The ground around Itachi exploded, but Itachi managed to escape but ended up with a punch on his face by the fake Anbu. How's that, Itachi? Want some more? However, the fake Anbu's happy mood turned downhill as his vision became blurred and saw Itachi stabbing him. Damn it, Genjutsu. Itachi looked at his victim and taunted. This is all you got? I'm disappointed after all the boasting. Itachi's sentence was interrupted when Itachi had to evade from 20 kunais directed at him. Itachi, can you stop talking to my clone? It is useless. Itachi then realized it is a clone and dispelled the clone with a kick before facing several clones. Then you leave me with no choice. Itachi's Sharingan began to evolve and the fake Anbu realized the seriousness of this and closed his eyes. Mangekyo Sharingan. The other clones rushed towards Itachi to attack him. Itachi formed some hand signs and shouted, Amaterasu. The clones were quickly dispelled, leaving Itachi and the fake Anbu facing each other. You really want to end this, Itachi? By closing your eyes means you have resigned your fate to your death when faced with my ultimate power. The fake Anbu answered with a grin. Closing my eyes mean that I'm serious. This is it. The moment of truth has arrived. Itachi and the fake Anbu clashed with one another and surprisingly, Itachi was on the defensive despite the fact that the fake Anbu had his eyes closed. Itachi then heard a soft sound. Kaimon, Kai. Suddenly, out from nowhere, the fake Anbu stabbed Itachi, hurls him up in the air and shouts, Kage Buyo. The fake Anbu's arm bandages wraps around Itachi. The fake Anbu bear hugs Itachi together and pile drives the both of them towards the ground while spinning rapidly. Omet Renge. Both crashed to the ground, making a crater at impact point. However, Itachi remained unhurt while the fake Anbu emerged the worse of the both. I applaud your effort, but guys, Omet Renge is not to be used recklessly. Suddenly, something hit the fake Anbu and he starts to laugh. What's the matter? Have you lost your mind? Taunted Itachi. However, the fake Anbu continued to laugh before calming down. Do you think that I have gone mad? Look around you. Have you realized that the clan has gone missing? Itachi then realized that his focus on the battle with the fake Anbu resulted in giving the clan members a chance to escape. The real Anbu are already on their way here, so give up. Itachi then realized that the fake Anbu's goal was to delay him and allow reinforcements to reach here. Itachi remained unfazed. Before they arrive, I will be long gone and have already dispatched you. Itachi whipped out his kunai and made a direct assault on the fake Anbu. Shit, my body can't move. Then someone shouted, I will make sure this shall not happen. The fake Anbu turned around, only to see Uchiha Fugaku, father of Uchiha Itachi. Both clashed with one another and fierce duel ensued. Father, brother, stop fighting, shouted by a small boy. A beautiful lady appeared from behind and tried to pull the boy away. Sasuke, get back, it is dangerous. Itachi, having seen the boy and the lady, formed several hand seals and shouted, Amaterasu. With the black flames directed to the boy and the lady, both the fake Anbu and Fugaku raced to protect the duo, the former making hand seals as he reached them. Sweden. Suijinheki. Water from a nearby pond quickly surrounded the foursome, forming water shield. The fake Anbu then reconfirmed their health status. Are all of you okay? Thank you, we are okay. But this shield will not. Before Fugaku could finish his sentence, he collapsed. Father. Fugaku. Inside Suijinheki. How is he? He's got first-degree burns on his entire left side of his body. Damn it, the shield will not hold, what should I do? Oba-chan, can you help me maintain this shield? I can try but it will not last long. Never mind, just do it. I've got a plan. Outside the Suijinheki, they're putting quite a stand here. Itachi however smirked, but the shield will still crumble. Inside the Suijinheki, after discussing their plan, fake Anbu said, Are you ready? The lady then replied, Hi, Sweden. Suijinheki. The fake Anbu released the jutsu while the lady executing the same jutsu simultaneously, making it seems nothing had happened. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. The fake Anbu clone appeared outside of the Suijinheki and began throwing kunais at Itachi to distract Itachi. It is useless. He directly his Amaterasu flames at the clone, dispelling it. However, at the same time, the fake Anbu began forming hand seals before shouting, Doden. Doryuheki. The fake Anbu then spit some mud around the group, forming a hemisphere wall formation made of earth. Use such a petty trick just to distract me to use such a defensive jutsu? Have you become a coward after having to defend more people? This is so amusing. Itachi cut short his sentence as he sensed people coming to this direction. So you managed to get the Anbu here quite efficiently, considering you had just sparred with me. But then, I think this is just nice for you, after having reached your limit. Shit, he knows that I'm at my limit. But then, Itachi really lives up to his name. Hope that you don't see me again, or else you will not live to tell the tale. With that, Itachi left in a flash. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. The fireball blasted through the earth wall, allowing the foursome to get out. How is he now? For now he is alright. What about you? I'm fine, thanks for your concern. Sasuke looked at the fake Anbu suspiciously and said, "Are you the serial stalker? You quite fit the description of the black stalker who stalks Uchiha members." Oops, I guessed I just blown my cover. The duo looked at each other and started to laugh. The lady joined in the laughter after failing to contain herself. Oba-chan, I didn't get your name then. Can you tell me? Uchiha Makoto, Stalker-san. See you in the future, Makoto Heim. The fake Anbu shunshin his way out of the compound, leaving the Makoto blushing. Soon after, Anbu arrived on the scene and began helping out the injured. 15 minutes later, Hokage Tower. A black figure suddenly appeared in front of third Hokage, who didn't look surprised. So you really held Itachi until the Anbu came? Yes, I did. However, I paid a heavy price. The fake Anbu suddenly collapsed. Third Hokage having managed to catch him before falling head first. Naruto. 2 days later, Konoha Hospital. Naruto slowly aroused from his sleep and saw third Hokage beside him. Where am I and what happened? You suffered from chakra exhaustion, so I send you to the hospital. What? My cover? Don't worry, I removed your stalking attire before bringing you to hospital. The Hokage smiled and then continued. But your alias as Black Stalker has hit the papers though. What? Did they found out who's the one? No, but they changed your name from Black Stalker to Black Saviour. Here's the paper. Naruto flipped through the paper thoroughly while third Hokage asked Naruto, "Why don't you reveal yourself as the Black Saviour? If I reveal the true identity, people will still despise me. At least now I'm being acknowledged as the savior of the Uchiha clan." "What about Fugaku Uchiha?" asked Naruto. "He suffered burns that had damaged his vital organs and the doctor's prognosis isn't good." "Where can I find him?" "Actually, he is at the bed left of you." "What? He is beside me. I've got work to do, so see you tomorrow then." Third Hokage turned around and shunshined back to the Hokage tower, leaving Naruto alone in the ward. Just now I've made so much noise, did he know the truth? Naruto climbed out of his bed and took a peek at Fugaku Uchiha. When he saw Fugaku in an unconscious state, he breathed a sign of relief. Phew, that was close. Suddenly someone entered the ward with a bang. Konoha dynamic entry. It became pretty clear who came to visit Naruto. "Naruto, my honorable student. How are you today?" Guy struck his trademark pose, which made Naruto faint again. As Guy carried Naruto back to his bed, he lamented. "Maybe I should change my pose, if not my prized student will faint again." Due to Guy's noisy entrance, Fugaku became awakened slightly. 15 minutes later, Naruto managed to regain consciousness. "Sorry Guy-sensei, I still not accustomed to your pose yet." "Why should say sorry? Anyway, I came here to congratulate you on your brilliant effort on fighting Itachi." "Guy-sensei, you should not say this in public. I don't want to reveal my identity yet." "Why not, my honorable student? The people of Konoha have been treating me as a jinx for the past few years. It seems that the hatred for me will far exceed the amount of good things I may have done. Of course, you are the host of that beast, and that's why you are receiving such attention despite Yondaime's and Sandame's best interests. He is very pitiful." You got a point. Since you were able to use Omit Renge against Itachi and still able to fight him effectively after that, and therefore I shall teach you the better version of Omit Renge. "Thank you Guy-sensei, but I think I need to get more rest before I do that. So I shall not disturb you, my honorable student." Guy then left the ward in a noisy fashion, saying something of wanting to improve himself by running around Konoha. Meanwhile, Fugaku was trying to figure out what Guy said. "Guy, fighting, Itachi, Omit Renge? This chakra feels familiar. Wonder if I felt it before." Suddenly, it made sense to him. The Omit Renge was used by the Black Savior to defeat Itachi. Which means the person next to his ward is the Black Savior. After finding out the revelation, he wanted to know who the Black Savior is. Therefore he tried to get up and out of his bed to see who he was but then fell. Naruto, who noticed it, quickly came to his bed and helped Fugaku back to his bed. Fugaku was shocked to see that the Black Savior was just an 8-year-old boy but managed to hide his emotions from Naruto. Fugaku-sama, you should not move around when you are heavily injured. Thanks for your concern, boy. Why are you in the hospital, boy? You don't look sick or injured to me. I overexerted myself during practice, Fugaku-sama. Obviously he is not revealing his identity, but why? Seeing Fugaku deep in thought, Naruto wondered what he was thinking. What are you thinking of, Fugaku-sama? Nothing. Anyway, how do I address you, boy? You haven't introduced yourself. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. Fugaku realized who is talking to. The host of the Nine-Tailed Fox, Kyuubi, and Fugaku immediately understood the reason why Naruto hid his identity. So for the next few days, Fugaku and Naruto developed a bond with each other and spent most of the time in the hospital talking to each other. However, one day, Fugaku's condition suddenly worsened. 5 days later, the doctor went through his medical files and shakes his head. His condition has turned from bad to worse. His vital organs are shutting down one by one. He may go anytime. Let's inform his family then. The doctor quickly left the ward to inform the Fugaku's family, leaving Naruto and Fugaku alone. Fugaku, knowing that he is going to die soon, called for Naruto, who had just overheard the news. Naruto, take care of my family, will you? Naruto was puzzled by his statement and replied, I'm just a kid, how can I take care of my family? You have protected my family once and I don't believe that you don't care. Flashback. 2 days ago, Konoha Hospital. Makoto Uchiha and Sasuke Uchiha came to visit Fugaku and were talking to him when Naruto entered the ward. Makoto and Sasuke, meet Naruto. He has been keeping me company all these times. When Naruto saw the lady he saved a few days ago, his face turned a little red as he greets both of them. Fugaku took note of it. Makoto-sama, Sasuke-san, nice to meet you. Naruto-san, nice to meet you. Sasuke then went forward to talk to Naruto about his stay here. Naruto-san, why are here in the first place? I overexerted myself during kunai practice. Are you in the ninja academy? Why I don't see you there? No, I'm just practicing before I enter the academy the next year. Yippee, then we can practice together from next year onward. As the boys talked enthusiastically about the academy, Fugaku started asking about the clan matters. They hit off rather well, aren't they, Makoto? They do, Fugaku. How's the clan now? Most of Uchiha members are recovering, but other than the massive damage in the Uchiha compound, all is well. We really have to thank the Black Savior for saving us. When Fugaku mentioned Black Savior, Makoto's face turned slight red before returning to normal quickly. However, Fugaku noticed it. Both Naruto and Makoto like each other. This is natural considering that incident. Makoto then offered Fugaku a drink. Fugaku, do you want a drink? Thanks, my dear. As Makoto reaches for the cup, Makoto trips on something and almost fall down. Naruto, who reacted the quickest, held her up. Thank you, Naruto-san. Not a problem, Makoto-sama. With Naruto flashing a bit of red. End of flashback. Naruto was shocked to hear that but tried to hide it. When did I protect your family? I'm just an 8-year-old boy. Why are you not admitting that you are Konoha's Black Savior? The one who saved the Uchiha clan. Fugaku coughed before continuing. I know you have your own difficulties, but just promise me that you will take care of my family and I will promise you to keep it a secret. Naruto couldn't reject a person's dying wish and therefore agreed to it. Thank you, Naruto. Here, take this. Fugaku passed a ring to Naruto. I'm entrusting her to you now. Treat her well, for I haven't done a good job as a husband. Tears start streaming out from Naruto's eyes as he kept the ring in his pocket. At the same time, Fugaku's family came to see him. Fugaku, Makoto was silenced by Fugaku, who first spoke. Makoto, I have entrusted the Black Savior to watch over both of you and promise me to take care of Naruto and Sasuke. Makoto looked at the now crying Naruto and then nodded. Fugaku then turned his attention to Sasuke. Sasuke, promise me not to be like Itachi and grow up to be a good person. Yes, father. With that, Fugaku takes in his last breath and slowly drifted off to his eternal sleep. Hokage Tower. Naruto and Sandame were sparring when Sandame suddenly stopped. "Naruto, let's take a break." Sandame looked at the 10-year-old boy and decided to break the news. "Naruto, come here. I have something to tell you." Sandame paused before continuing. "Since you are already at Chunin level, I should tell you your heritage. Haven't you noticed that you are able to make seals at such a young age? Not many people can make seals at such a young age. Even geniuses like me only start to make seals in my 30s. So do you know what I am trying to say?" Naruto knew what Sandame was trying to say but couldn't believe it. "I think you like to see this letter by your father, it will explain everything." Sandame passed Naruto a letter which was meant for Naruto. "Naruto, by the time you read this letter, you should know that I have died to save Konoha from the nine-tailed fox, Kyuubi no Yoko. Although the physical form of the fox is destroyed, the spirit of the fox cannot be destroyed. Hence I had to sacrifice my life to seal it in your body, leaving a seal mark on your stomach. Your mother and I wished that this gift is to be used to protect those whom you hold dearly. Take care, my son. By your father, Yondaime." After finished reading the letter, Naruto bursted into tears and left the Hokage Tower. Sandame looked at Naruto as he moves further and further away from the Hokage Tower until Naruto disappeared from sight. "Naruto, at one of a playground in Konoha. Why is the Kyuubi sealed in me? Does it mean that I'm responsible for my father's death and ninjas who died protecting Konoha? Am I a bloodlust maniac who kills mercilessly?" As Naruto continued to cry, his action caught the attention of several girls who nearby chatting about something. "Hey Sakura, do you hear something?" "Yeah, Ino." It sounded like someone crying. As the group tried to pinpoint the source, Hinata found the person they were looking for. "He is at that playground." As the group moved toward Naruto, Tenten caught a glimpse of the person. "He looks familiar, I think we meet the person at the academy." After moving closer, Tenten realized who it was. "It is Naruto." The girls looked at Tenten with a blur look who later explained. "You know, the guy is the best friend of Sasuke. Oh, let's see what's wrong and try to console him. Hey Naruto, what's going on? Why are you crying?" Naruto looked at the group and tried to hold back his tears. "Do you see me as a monster?" Puzzled by the question, the group tried to console him. "Sakura, you are not a monster. You are kind, helpful and loyal to your friends. A monster doesn't do such things." Tenten, Naruto, a monster's actions is dictated by its feelings and doesn't care for others. Even if you are a monster, you are not easily influenced by your feelings. You would think about it carefully and make the appropriate action. After listening to the group, Naruto became enlightened. "Thank you for consoling me. I finally understand what my father meant. Who is your fath?" The group was cut off when Sandame appeared from nowhere. "Naruto, there you are. I've been finding you. Grandpa Hokage, I finally realized the meaning of it." "That's good." Sandame then turned to the girls. "You girls must have helped him a lot." The girls blushed at Sandame's comment but replied, "Hokage-sama, it was nothing. If there is nothing else, Naruto, let's go." Naruto nodded and shunshin out the playground with Sandame. The group was stunned and stood stationary for a moment before Sakura interrupted. "Did you see that? I don't remember whether Naruto learned such a jutsu. He looks cool though." After the sentence was finished, everyone blushed. Forehead girl, are you in love with Naruto? Absolutely not. I'm over the heels for Sasuke. Ino blushed before continuing. Unlike someone who said something about Naruto being good. What? I just currying Naruto's flavor so to put a good word in front of Sasuke. Sakura and Ino gave death stares at each other. Tenten, I thought you liked Neji-san? Why are you blushing? Hinata. 10 minutes later, Hokage Tower. After Sandame and Naruto shunshin into the tower, Sandame pulled out a long scroll and continued the interrupted conversation. According to your father's last will, once you know about your heritage, you will inherit his 4-story mansion and his wealth. Yippee! I can splurge on ramen without worrying how much it cost. However, what Sandame is going to say dampened Naruto's hopes. You will only get the full amount of your father's wealth at the age of 16. What? Sandame looked at the remaining part of will and smirked sinisterly before regaining his composure. Naruto, seeing Sandame's reaction, became very interested in finding out the last part of his will. Grandpa Hokage, what is the last part of the will? Naruto, it is best you know it when you are older, it is adult content. Grandpa Hokage, just simplify it to PG content. So basically, you can have many wives. Naruto remained confused as he continued to look at Sandaime. Grandpa Hokage, I still don't understand? Sandaime started laughing at him until remember something. Naruto, here's the key to your family's mansion. Yippee! Grandpa Hokage, can you come with me? Sandaime nodded and the excited Naruto started dragging him out the Hokage tower. Sandaime mentally chuckled at Naruto's action. 1 week before Genin final examination, Hokage tower. Hokage-sama, Uzumaki Naruto is here as ordered. The visibly grown blonde boy entered the room with Sandaime smoking his pipe while looking at the Hokage monument. The physical appearance of Naruto has changed into a well-built teenager wearing a black-orange outfit, what he is wearing in Shippuden. Naruto, I know you want to prevent Iwa Shinobi from knowing your true identity, but you should not resort to such poor academy results and pranks. Grandpa Hokage, in simple terms, I have been doing some research on something and hence affected my studies. Sandaime looked at Naruto before Naruto continued. In complicated terms, I possess 2 brains, a smart brain and a dumb brain. Due to the research, my smart brain is overworked and hence it struck a deal with the dumb brain to take over him during academy lessons. As such, the academy results are poor. When S2 finds the academy lessons too difficult, hence he slipped out of class to do something funny. What research are you doing anyway? I can't tell you, but it is nearing completion. However, Sandaime's face turned cheeky and Naruto knew what Sandaime is hinting at. An old geezer like you can only think of such things? You are a disgrace, Grandpa Hokage. Sandaime's face turned serious. Naruto, just make sure you pass the Genin final examination. Don't worry, Grandpa Hokage. Research is important, but passing the examination is more important. 1 week later, Ninja Academy. Naruto have just finished most of the tests and managed to pass all of it as of now. In Naruto's mind, smart. I didn't know you became smarter, dumb one. Dumb. The brain is growing so naturally I also become smarter. However, I did get help from you. Smart. How? Dumb. I hacked into your memories during your training and then I mentally trained myself just enough to pass the exam. Smart brain started panicking due to some sensitive information. Smart. What? You hacked into my brain. How much did you see? Dumb. I saw something interesting, like Makotoheim? Smart. What? I will make sure you will forget it. As both brains are in a scuffle, the final part of the examination is about to begin. Back to the real world. Iruka began to tell the instruction for the final part of the examination. We will now start the final exam. If your name is called, come to classroom next door. The subject will be Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto's mind. Dumb. Shit, this is one I am not good at. Hey smart one. You know how to do Bushin no Jutsu? Smart. Sorry dumb one. This one I also not very good at it. Maybe they will let me use Kage Bushin instead since it is a higher level jutsu. Back to real world. Uzumaki Naruto. Yes, Iruka-sensei. Process to the room on the left, Baka. Iruka led Naruto to the room and sat at the examiner table with Mizuki. Iruka-sensei, can do something else like. No. The subject is Bushin no Jutsu and so you cannot anyhow change the subject as you like. Naruto felt dejected after his appeal fell on deaf ears and proceeded to perform Bushin no Jutsu. Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto replicated a Bushin but it was very obvious it is a fake one. Iruka's eye twitched before yelling. You fail. Mizuki tried to plead for Naruto but was rebutted by Iruka. Mizuki-sensei, everyone can produce 3 Bushins and the one Naruto made will just merely be a bother. Naruto left the academy immediately, feeling sad and hurt. Mizuki later caught up with Naruto and explained to him and goaded him to get what he wants. At the entrance of Iruka's apartment, Iruka-sensei wasn't purposely being mean. Then why does he pick on me the most? He wants you to become truly strong, Naruto-kun, since you two don't have any parents. But then I want to graduate. Fine. Mizuki smirked silently. My plan is proceeding as planned. Soon I will get the scroll of sealing and become stronger. I will tell you a big secret. Naruto found it too hard to believe it. Dumb. A secret? That sounds too good to be true. Smart. I agree. This guy must have some hidden agenda. Together, let's play along and see what happens. After hearing what Mizuki had told him, Naruto realized his main goal of doing it. Smart. There you have it. He wants to steal the scroll of sealing. Dumb. Should we inform others about the plot? Smart. You still haven't wise up. We should take this chance to peek at the scroll. Dumb. Why? Smart. We can learn new techniques from it, or it may provide useful information to help me in my research. Dumb. Yeah, but what is your research about? Smart. I will tell you once I finish it. Dumb. But what about Mizuki? He will find out eventually. Smart. Do what you do best, being dumb. Dumb. I wonder it is an insult or a compliment. Naruto nodded in agreement and proceeded to the designated location. 15 minutes later at the designated location, Naruto found the place and began searching for the scroll, which he found it with ease due to Mizuki's guidance. The first technique is Taiju Kage Bushin no Jutsu. It is an advanced version of Kage Bushin. It will be useful in future. Naruto started training on that jutsu and read up on the other techniques in the scroll. Meanwhile, Mizuki sparked the village-wide search for Naruto, who had supposedly stolen the scroll of sealing. 1 hour later, Iruka found Naruto and confronted Naruto. Naruto. Oh man, I got caught, I only learned one technique. Iruka then noticed something different about him. He practiced here, until he was all worn out? Iruka-sensei, if I show a great technique from this scroll, I will graduate, right? Iruka was shocked at his statement and immediately asked for clarification. Who said that? Mizuki-sensei. He told me the place and this scroll. The moment Naruto finished that sentence, Iruka shoved his student out of the way of the oncoming projectiles that he just sensed. Iruka felt himself thrown back against the small shack in the clearing, but he ignored the pain and instead turned to pinpointing the location of the attacker. Mizuki was sitting smugly in a tree at the edge of the clearing. I didn't expect anyone to get to him before I did. This will cause a small hitch in my plans. I was just going to kill Naruto and take the scroll. Nobody will miss the brat anyway. Now it looks like I'll have to kill both of you. It'll be difficult for me to get out of this without catching any suspicion. Naruto was staring at Mizuki with horror. However, his mind thought otherwise. Smart. You are doing a good job, dumb one. Dumb. I'm not acting, these are real emotions. Smart. Anyway, keep it up. Dumb. He still doesn't believe me. Back to real world. Iruka could see the understanding and belief flash through his eyes as he considered Mizuki's words. Naruto, whatever you do, do not give up that scroll, Iruka ordered his student. Why should he listen to you? Mizuki asked, looking over at Naruto. Let me let you in on a secret, brat. Iruka hates you as much as the rest of the village. Would you like to know why? Naruto's terrified face faltered slightly, betraying his curiosity. Naruto's mind. Smart. Dumb one, he's going to spill the fox thing. Dumb. I also know, but I can't do it because I'm not a full-fledged award-winning actor like you. Smart. If you can't, then I, Grammy Award winner, shall do it then. The smart brain took over Naruto's body to act out the most exciting part of the situation. Back to real world. Don't. Iruka shouted at Mizuki. When Mizuki smirked at Naruto, Iruka shouted. Get out of here, Naruto. Naruto didn't listen to him. Instead, Iruka could tell that the boy's attention was fixed firmly on Mizuki and the answers that he had always wanted. The reason they all hate you, 12 years ago when the Kyuubi was sealed, it was sealed in you. You're the one that caused all the pain and suffering in this village. Iruka's parents and so many others, you killed all of them. You're the Kyuubi. Naruto's face scrunched up in confusion as an act to go along with the show, causing Mizuki to smirk in pleasure. Iruka's mind flashed back to the meeting with the Hokage earlier that afternoon. Naruto didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve to lose every ounce of faith he had managed to build inside the village. Iruka reacted as quickly as he could when he saw Mizuki ready one of his larger shuriken. He managed to shield Naruto, but not without the shuriken becoming lodged in his back. Get out of here, he grunted through the pain. Naruto nodded and grabbed the scroll before heading out of the clearing. Naruto silently bounded away and hid behind a nearby tree to hear the conversation between Mizuki and Iruka. If he was a monster fox, but Naruto is different. Iruka managed a weak smile. He's an excellent student that I recognize. He's hardworking, earnest, clumsy, but nobody recognizes him. Mizuki's face began to twitch, reflecting his growing anger. He knows the pain of others. He is not a monster fox. He is Uzumaki Naruto of Konoha. Iruka nearly yelled the last part, and his eyes glared directly into Mizuki with pure determination. Mizuki looked in surprise at Iruka's bold statement. He couldn't understand how Iruka could care for the same demon that slaughtered his parents. But he wasn't going to let that trouble him. With a sinister grin, he unhooked the second large shuriken from his back. What an idiot! Mizuki smirked as he felt the weight of the shuriken in his hand and gripped it tightly. Iruka, initially I didn't want to kill you first, but I take that back. He began to spin the shuriken in his right hand, demonstrating his mastery over the weapon. As it picked up speed, it took on the appearance of a blurred circle. Die! Mizuki roared as began to race forward at the defenseless Chunin. This must be the end. Iruka thought. Iruka thought that this will be the end, but suddenly, he heard something. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. 3 clones surrounded Mizuki while the original Naruto deflected the shuriken as he walked in front of Iruka. Iruka-sensei, I was trying to tell you that I know Kage Bushin back then, but you never gave me a chance. But I thought, thank you Naruto. Mizuki started to taunt Naruto. So what if you can do Kage Bushin? You have poor combat skills, and how are you going to face a Chunin who is vastly superior than you, Monster Fox? Naruto however smiled and started cracking his knuckles. Mizuki-sensei, you actually helped me in my research and I should thank you by letting you off. But since you hurt Iruka-sensei, I shall thank you in a more personal manner. The 3 clones started attacking Mizuki while Naruto helped Iruka up as they head for a safer place. As Naruto carefully lowered Iruka beside a tree, Naruto spoke first. Iruka-sensei, how are you feeling? Other than the back and the thigh, I'm fine. Naruto however noticed something and quickly pulled out a kunai just in time to clash with Mizuki's kunai. Naruto, I must say you are good, for an academy student. Naruto however retorted with a smirk. Then I shall show a forbidden technique to show that I'm the much better than an academy student. With that, Naruto began the sequence of hand seals for the forbidden technique. Taju Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Hundreds of Naruto clones surround Mizuki, who became startled by the number clones. Soon he realized he is in a disadvantage and pleaded for mercy. Naruto, I beg you to forgive me, please don't hurt me. Mizuki-sensei, I did say I'm going to thank you personally, how about a personal gift? Mizuki's initial optimism was shot down 200 punches and kicks that followed and he collapsed to the ground after the severe beat up by Naruto. Iruka was amazed by Naruto's skills and wondered how he did that. For an academy student to beat such Chunin, it is totally unbelievable. What a guy, he may even surpass all the Hokages. Iruka was snapped out from his thoughts when Naruto appeared in front of him. Naruto, come here, I want to give something. Naruto followed and Iruka quickly slipped his forehead protector to his forehead. Naruto, from now, you are a genin. To celebrate this occasion, I shall treat you to ramen. Naruto immediately hugged Iruka, who is still wounded during the battle. Naruto, don't hug me so tightly because my back still hurts. 3 days later, Ninja Academy. This is the day where all the genins are being sorted into 3-man teams and everyone is very excited, especially the girls. Sasuke-kun, how are you today? Sasuke-kun, are you excited by today's event? As Sasuke ignored the Sasuke fan club to talk to his best friend Naruto, who had just been discharged from the hospital. Shouts and cheers of Sasuke being cool rang out so loud that it shocked the academy. Yo, Naruto, how are you doing? I'm fine, but I will do better if I did not sit beside you today. Sasuke was curious by his remark and asked why. Why? Either I get death stares by the girls or I will be constantly irritated by the girls trying to curry flavor with me to promote them in front of you. Naruto felt weird and looked around him. Realizing the situation, he continued the conversation. Sasuke, one good example will be now. As the both of them looked around, they saw death stares directed at Naruto and cute faces directed to Sasuke. You are right, I sincerely hoped Iruka-sensei come in the class now. Sasuke's wish came through as Iruka-sensei entered the classroom, which effectively diffused the situation both Naruto and Sasuke faced, for now. Now I shall announce the team groupings. As Iruka announced the teams, few of female genins were disappointed as they were not grouped with Sasuke, whose name hasn't been announced yet. However, when Iruka announced Team 7's members, it caused quite a stir. Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Uzumaki Naruto and finally Uchiha Sasuke. Your Junin sensei is Hitaki Kakashi. Those in the Sasuke fan club groaned as they missed out while some of them stared at Iruka, Naruto and Sakura. Iruka, knowing that announcement would cause trouble for him, immediately shunshin out of the classroom after finishing the team announcement. With Iruka out of sight, all the death stares is then directed to Sakura and Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke followed suit to avoid potential trouble. However, Sakura was left behind and was then tortured until the other team's sensei came in to get their genin team. 30 minutes later, Ninja Academy. After seeing most of the genins left the classroom, the duo then entered the classroom to tend to their severely tortured teammate. Sakura-chan, are you okay? Sakura however answered him with a punch. Do you think I feel okay? I was severely tortured because of you. Why can you be a man like Sasuke-kun and bear the same responsibility of being Sasuke-kun's teammate? Naruto, sore after the punch, mumbled something to Sasuke. I'm still a boy so I'm not a man. Another thing is that you are the one responsible for this, not me. Naruto then received another punch from the fuming Sakura who defended her idol. How can you frame Sasuke-kun, he's my. Sakura then blushed by her own comment. Sasuke, who saw the event, started laughing at the both of them. Both of you really remind me of couples in the movies. Sasuke, how could you? Naruto cut short his sentence and threw a kunai at the door, only to have a one-eyed Junin to intercept the kunai. I know that I'm late, but it does not require such reception. He looked at his team before continuing again. Anyway, let's go to the roof. Team 7 then headed to the roof where the Junin instructor first spoke. Let's introduce ourselves so as to get to know your teammates better. Curious about her sensei, Sakura took the initiative. Sensei, why don't you start first? Me? I'm Hitaki Kakashi. I have no intentions in telling you my likes and dislikes. As for my dream, pause. I have few hobbies. Sakura, who was visibly disappointed by her sensei's answer, mentally sighed. So all we found out was his name. Their sensei then pointed at Sakura. Now, it's the girl's turn. Sakura took a deep breath and started. I'm Haruno Sakura. The person I like is. My hobby is. My dream is. My dream is too. As Sakura had started her introduction, her eyes were locked on Sasuke throughout the introduction. A fact that Kakashi didn't miss. Kakashi then asked, sighing. And, what do you hate? Ino pig. Kakashi mentally sighed at her statement. Girls at that age are more interested in love than ninja training. Next, the raven-haired guy. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. There are many things that I like, and there aren't a lot of things that I hate. However, I have an ambition that I have no intention to leave as just a dream, to rebuild the clan, and to kill a certain man. Thought so. Kakashi mentally sighed. He still couldn't let it go. Naruto too mentally sighed. Sasuke-kun is so cool. Sakura mentally screamed as she heard his statement. Finally is the blonde's turn. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like cup ramen, but I like ramen at Ichiraku that Iruka-sensei bought for me even more. I hate the 3 minutes that I have to wait after I put the hot water. My hobby is to eat and compare cup ramens. And my dream is to become greater than the Hokages. I'm going to make all the villagers recognize my existence. After Naruto's introduction ended, Kakashi then spoke. Tomorrow we will have a mission. What mission? A mission that will determine the fate of you three being a genin. With the trio looking a little lost, Kakashi's next sentence further confuses the three of them. Tomorrow we will have survival training. The confused trio looked at each other before Sakura first spoke. Survival training? I thought we have done enough training in the academy? Kakashi then replied Sakura's question. This training will determine you all whether you are fit to become a genin. Naruto, who visibly angry with his sensei, then asked him about the academy exams. What about the examinations in the academy? Are they unnecessary? No, they are tests to see whether you have the capability to become a genin. Sasuke, who was least affected by the mission, then asked about the training. How does this survival training works? If you pass, then you are officially a genin. If you fail, then you will go back to the academy. Kakashi paused for a while before continuing. Just a quick note, only 9 out of the 27 graduates will pass the test, meaning that there's 66.6 failure rate. The trio then said, what? After seeing their shocked faces, Kakashi then said, bring your ninja gear and meet me at the training ground tomorrow at 5 a.m. Meeting's over, see you then. Kakashi then poofed out of existence, leaving the trio very determined to pass the test. Naruto, I will not fail after going through so much. Sakura, if I fail this test, I'm going to be separated from Sasuke-kun. This is the trial of love. Sasuke, I must pass to become stronger and take revenge for my father. Training Ground 7, 5 a.m. The trio met at the designated time and place the next day but couldn't find their sensei. 3 hours later, Kakashi's sensei is very late today. According to what I heard, he is quite a lazy person. What? Then Kakashi arrived at scene and gave a lamentable excuse. Sorry guys, I met a black cat on my way and I had to take a different route. However, with death glares directed at Kakashi's tardiness, Kakashi quickly changed the subject to avoid trouble. For this test you will have to get the bells from me before noon, and I strongly advised you all to get the bells with the intention of kill, as you will not get it unless you do that. Sakura was worried about it and later voiced her concern. But then it will be too dangerous, sensei. Sasuke however interrupted. How come there are only 2 bells? Kakashi then smirked. The person who cannot get the bell will have no lunch and be tied to the log and eat lunch in front of you. Kakashi paused for a while before continuing. Oh, before I forget, the person who cannot get the bells will be sent back to academy. What? When I say go, disguise yourself within the surrounding. Shinobi's basic rule is to conceal your presence and hide. Now go. The trio disappeared from their sight, with 2 of them in the midst of planning their next move. Sasuke, I will fight him first to give you time to find Sakura and tell her about our strategy for Kakashi-sensei. Okay then, good luck. The duo then went on their own ways to act according to the plan. As Kakashi waits around at the clearing, Naruto goes underwater in the stream and then forms several clones, waiting for the right moment to strike. As if on cue, all the clones shot out of the water and began their assault on Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, here we go. Kakashi started blocking the punches and kicks by the clones, but after a while felt it was increasingly difficult to stop him until he jumped out and started forming several seals. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. Very hot, cannot stand the heat. One by one, the clones dispelled, leaving Kakashi and Naruto one-on-one. Meanwhile, somewhere within Training Ground 7, Sakura, where are you? Mendokuse, where is she? Suddenly from nowhere, Sakura pounced on Sasuke from behind. However, Sakura fell onto the floor as Sasuke did a kawarimi. After seeing that her Sasuke turned into a log, she screamed and passed out, leaving a fed-up yet confused Uchiha member cursing his good fortune. 5 minutes later, after numerous attempts of waking Sakura up, it finally succeeded, with Sasuke receiving a hug from Sakura. Sasuke-kun, I was so scared when I saw you poofed into a log, I just wanted to play a prank on you. Sakura, can you release your grip? I'm almost out of breath. Sakura realized her action and blushed, and immediately released her grip on Sasuke. After several gasps for air, Sasuke proceeded on his purpose here. Sakura, now I shall tell you the plan of defeating Kakashi both Naruto and I had devised. 10 minutes later, do you understand the plan now? However, there will still be one without the bell. Sasuke angrily reprimanded Sakura for her poor interpretation skills. Don't you see the purpose of this test? The purpose of this test is to work as a team. The 2 bells serve to prevent us from working as a team. The shocked Sakura then quickly apologized for being dense. Gomenasai Sasuke-kun, I didn't notice that. Sasuke regretted his outburst and too apologized for it. Sorry Sakura, so can we do it? Hi, back to Kakashi and Naruto. After several clashes, the duel between Kakashi and Naruto is still a draw. This left Kakashi plenty to think about Naruto and the team. Naruto is proving to me that he is much better than I thought. I think I heard Sasuke and Sakura talking about something. Maybe they have realized the answer to this test? I'm really beginning to like this team. When Kakashi snapped out of his thoughts, Naruto disappeared from his sight. Where is he? I cannot sense his chakra anywhere? He might be suppressing his chakra, so I better watch out. Kakashi went on to search for the other 2, eventually finding Sakura at a forest clearing. Yo Sakura, I found you. Sensei, you lose. Kakashi then realized that this was a trap and tried to escape, only to see Sasuke stopping him. Kaden. Hozenka no Jutsu. Kakashi evaded the fireballs and stood face to face with Sasuke. Kakashi, Sakura and maybe Naruto might be easy meat, but I'm even more special. Sasuke flung some kunais and shurikens at Kakashi, who dodged easily. However, it was all part of the plan. Sasuke then flung a kunai to activate the trap, kunais directed at Kakashi. Shit, it is a trap. Kakashi dodged it but only to see Sasuke Shunshin in front of him, launching a coordinated attack at Kakashi using his punches and kicks. Kakashi managed to block all of them, but when he saw Sasuke's free hand reaching for the bells, he pushed himself away from Sasuke and remarked Sasuke's ability. I acknowledge that you have the potential, but… Kakashi stopped as he saw a smirk on Sasuke's face. Gotcha. Kakashi then realized his bells have gone, only to see Naruto and Sakura holding a bell each at Kakashi's left and right side respectively. Sakura then taunted Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I seriously doubted that you are a Chunin. How did you do it? Sasuke then told what happened. Sakura was used as a bait to lure you into our trap. Then I was supposed to engage you in a fight where at one point tried to reach out for the bells. As expected of you, you will move away from me to prevent me from taking the bells. At the same time, Naruto and Sakura will rush out to take the bells at lightning speed. But both of them have such lightning speed? Did you think Naruto didn't possess such speed? No. Of course Sakura didn't possess such speed, but with the help of Naruto clones catapulting her and being the crash barrier, she did it. Kakashi gave it a deep thought and then said, I guess I was too complacent with you guys. Okay, all three of you passed the survival training. Yippee. So you three report tomorrow at Hokage Tower next morning 8 a.m. sharp. As the team was dismissed, Kakashi went to his usual bookshop to purchase the latest edition of Uchiha Paradise when he saw an unusual long queue of women trying purchase some pink-colored book. As Team 7 start to go on their way, Sasuke caught hold of Naruto after finding him in his favorite hotspot, Ichiraku Ramen. Again I find you here, Naruto. Sasuke, you should try it, it's awesome, Naruto speaking in between mouthfuls of ramen. I just came to tell you that my mom is preparing a party at our mansion to celebrate our success today. What? I shall stop eating and save my stomach for your mom's delicious cooking. I just don't understand why you like my mom's cooking even though they are average, or perhaps you have some hidden agenda. Naruto tries to fight away his blush and sidestep the topic. It's the mother touch I think, and that why I like the food, so you should appreciate it, Sasuke. Okay, see you later at 8 p.m. then. Uchiha Mansion, 8 p.m. A nicely dressed Naruto appeared in front of the Uchiha Mansion and knocked on the door. After a while a 16-year-old raven-haired girl opened the door. Naruto-san, welcome to Uchiha Mansion. Konbawa, Sayuri-chan. Sayuri-chan, are you joining us with the celebration? No, Sasuke is here. Sayuri quickly walked past Naruto, Sasuke appearing behind her. Naruto, don't worry, she promised to be here at some point. Naruto-san, why are you not coming? Quote, Makoto-san, I was just… If you don't, all the ramen that I have made will be wasted. Nani? There is ramen. Naruto rushed off to the dining area to start on ramen spree, leaving a slightly amused Sasuke and Makoto. Even Sayuri, who was watching from a distance, blushed at his statement. After the party, Naruto was set to leave when Makoto stopped him. Naruto-san, can I talk to you a minute? Hi Makoto-san, what can I do for you? Firstly, can you look after Sasuke when you are going on missions? I think he can take of himself, Makoto-san. Makoto's face becomes serious but still spoke in a nice manner. You know what had happened to the Uchihas, right? Naruto's heart stopped a beat as memories of the massacre flooded his mind, but nodded to allow Makoto to continue. Sasuke witnessed the event and I think he's suppressing his feelings for revenge, and because the road of revenge doesn't accomplish things but rather degrades the person further. However, Makoto started to cry as she continued on. I just can't bear the sight of losing him to darkness, Naruto instinctively hugged Makoto to calm her down, and soon Makoto regained her composure. Sorry Naruto, seeing Sayuri's obsession for revenge made me… Naruto interrupted her and replied to her request. I know what to do, Makoto-san. Makoto dried her tears and smiles, placing her hand on his head. Lastly, call me Makoto instead. I don't like people using honorifics. Okay Makoto Makoto. Since that day, Team 7 had undergone several missions but all within Konoha, but Naruto wasn't satisfied. So one day, Naruto went to see Sandaime to improve the quality of the mission. Hokage Tower. Hokage-sama, Uzumaki Naruto is here. Let him come in. Sparring no time, Naruto immediately complained about it as he entered the Hokage room. Grandpa Hokage, can you assign our team to a better mission and not some boring missions like catching runaway cats? The Hokage lighted his pipe and replied to his request. Naruto, there are regulations to follow and I can't anyhow assign a mission to a team where the mission is too dangerous for the team. So therefore I can't. Suddenly a bright idea struck third Hokage while arguing with Naruto, and after thinking for a while, he proposed it to Naruto. I think I have just the right mission for you. Third Hokage searched for this particular scroll and showed it to Naruto. This is a mission to the Land of the Waves. Although this is a C-ranked mission, there are too many hidden factors about the mission and hence I will probably let a Chunin team to do it. However, if you don't mind, I will assign another team along with your team to help you, but the amount of money will be split into 2 teams. It's fine with me. That's settled then, see you tomorrow then Naruto. One day later. Team 7, your mission will be to escort a bridge builder to his homeland and protect him until the completion of the bridge. Sandaime, you wouldn't do this. Of course I can't assign just a genin team to do a C-ranked mission. Therefore I will assign another team to team up with you later during the mission. Kakashi gave third Hokage a curious look, trying to find out the other team. May I know whose team will it be? Sandaime held his stand and replied. You will know later, but now meet your client. The third Hokage pointed at the door, where a drunken old man emerged from the door. Looking at the team and said, are they really ninjas? They looked more like kids than ninja. The old man then regretted by his choice of words as he was woke from his stupor with several bumps on his face. Konoha Main Gate, 30 minutes later. As the team assembled at the main gate before departing for their mission, Naruto and Kakashi were obviously late and Sakura, who couldn't stand Kakashi's tardiness, and Sasuke began to protest. Where the hell are Kakashi and Naruto? They're late. Come on, Kakashi is always late, and besides Naruto won't be late without a reason. Kakashi then appeared in front of the two and gave the usual excuse about some black cat on the way. Naruto turned up 5 minutes later and was immediately rewarded with a punch by Sakura. Baka, why are you so late? Even Kakashi-sensei was earlier than you. Sumimasen, I was replenishing my weapon inventory. After accounting for everyone, Kakashi declares the start of the mission. Alright, since everyone is present, so let's go. As the team made their way to their destination, 2 Chunins were watching the group from a distance, waiting for the right moment to strike. 30 minutes later. As the group heads towards the shore, Kakashi sensed something's amiss. Why do I feel my senses are tingling? Is someone tailing us? Just as the group passed by a stream, suddenly the 2 Chunins who had been tailing the group appeared from the stream and attacked Kakashi before heading for the bridge builder. With Sakura too shocked to move after seeing Kakashi being killed by the Chunins, it seems that all hopes were lost. However, Naruto and Sasuke reacted to the situation and quickly dispatched the 2 Chunins with a series of fast kicks and punches. Kakashi then reappeared from the shadows and congratulated the duo on their effort. Sasuke and Naruto, good work with those Chunins. Sakura then asked Kakashi about not dealing the Chunins earlier. Kakashi-sensei, why didn't you deal with those Chunins earlier? A C-ranked escort means that the probable enemies we will face would only be thugs. So if your enemies are ninjas, then the mission becomes a B or A-ranked mission. Kakashi shifted his attention to the bridge builder and continued. Furthermore, I wanted to know the target the ninjas were after. So Tazuna-san, please tell us the truth before I changed my mind of going back to the village. Konoha outskirts. After Tazuna's initial resistance to say the truth, he relented later after telling the Team 7 the real truth about the mission. As the team continued to absorb Tazuna's information, Naruto started to like the mission as the situation becomes grime, as the person who wants Tazuna dead is a rich business magnate. That's all, Tazuna-san? Aren't you hiding anything else? There's nothing more, I assure you. I will get, so let's go before I change my mind again. 5 hours later, the group reached the Land of Waves after 5 hours of traveling, and the team started to feel a bit tired due to the long journey. However, the moment the group touched land, Kakashi sensed something wrong and shouted. Get down everyone. As they ducked, a huge sword flew above their heads and immediately Kakashi knew who it was but started talking in a joking manner. With that large sword you must one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Might you be the Kiri no Nin, Momochi Zabuza? A voice broke out on the branch of a tree and took back his sword, revealing himself as he removes his sword from the tree. I was surprised that the demon brothers lost and was wondering who was responsible. But after seeing who was leading the team, the showdown between me and a certain Anbu legend is inevitable, isn't it Copy Ninja Kakashi? Both sides release their killing intent that stricken both Sakura and Sasuke. Only Naruto could withstand the killer intent by the two. At the same time Kakashi reveals his Sharingan, leaving the Genins to protect Tazuna. As Kakashi's Zabuza fight drag on, Sasuke's eyes changed color momentarily before returning to normal, but at the same time, Zabuza made a series of quick hand seals. Suiru no Jutsu. The jutsu caught Kakashi and enveloped him in a watery prison. Naruto cursed as he re-evaluates his situation. Shit, it is between us and him. Zabuza formed several water bushins and immediately headed for Tazuna. With that Sakura panicked, but Naruto and Sasuke remained calm and within a few seconds, both looked at each other and nodded. In lightning pace, both of them disappeared from Sakura's sight, with several shurikens flung at one of the bushin. The bushin deflected it away from his sword, but Naruto crept behind to kick the bushin, dispelling the bushin. Another bushin tried to attack Naruto's blind side but was dispelled with a thrown kunai with an exploding tag by Sasuke. Soon it was between Naru-Sasu combo and Zabuza. Let me praise you on your progress, but you aren't getting past me that easily. Without warning, a water bushin that had hidden itself from the battle attacked Sakura. However, another Naruto appeared in front of Sakura and dealt with the water bushin with a precise kick. Naruto dispelled the bushin and replied to Zabuza's comment. That was hardly a surprise given that for a team to fall, the enemy will target the weakest link. Therefore, with both of us occupied with your bushins, it presented a chance for you to attack Sakura and kill Tazuna. Sasuke continued while Naruto started making hand seals. Furthermore, we noticed that a bushin hid itself after you created the Mizu bushins and therefore implemented this tactic to draw out the ace. With that ace out, we can fight without holding back. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. 50 Naruto clones appeared and started throwing kunais at Zabuza. Zabuza again deflected it but was cornered by Naruto bushins and suddenly Sasuke leapt into the air and shouted, Kaden! Gokaku no Jutsu. Zabuza quickly dispels the water prison jutsu to evade the attack, but Naruto bushins gets closer to Zabuza and explodes. After smoke was cleared, Zabuza was still alive but suffered several injuries although not life-threatening. Kakashi thanked the duo and then got down to business. Zabuza, let's continue our duel, shall we? Kakashi then defeated Zabuza and almost killed him before a person appeared from the shadows and threw a senbon at Zabuza's neck. After confirming the person as a Kiri Hunter Nin and Zabuza being dead, Kakashi motioned his team to head to Tazuna's house before collapsing on the spot. Having Naruto to carry Kakashi, they headed for their destination, but Naruto had a lingering doubt on that mysterious Hunter Nin. That person's chakra seems familiar, can it be her? It was not long before they arrived at Tazuna's house and Naruto knocked on the door. Soon a plainly dressed but attractive woman answered the door. The woman's face showed relief as she looked upon the group. Tucson, you're home. I'm Tsunami and welcome to our home. After letting the team to come in, she guided them to their room. Suddenly a boy, revealing himself as Tsunami's son Inari, appeared behind Tsunami but unwillingly to talk to the team for some reason. Tazuna house, one day later. After Kakashi woken up, he started to have doubts on the Hunter Nin and asked his team who were present at the scene. Sakura, did you remember what did the Hunter Nin do after killing Zabuza? He carried him back. With that reply, Kakashi knew that his suspicion was true. Based on what Sakura said, I pretty much guessed that Zabuza is still alive. Tazuna and Tsunami were shocked to hear it. Why do you say he is alive? Hunter Nin usually needs the person's head to stake their claim of killing their target, but bringing back Zabuza's whole body is very suspicious. Furthermore, the choice of weapon is non-lethal unless you hit the vital points. Chances are the person is still alive. But Kakashi-san, you checked that he's dead, right? Being an Anbu himself, he must have taught the fake Hunter Nin to induce near-death state using those senbon needles. With that scared look on almost everyone's faces, Kakashi tried to downplay the problem. However, both of us will take about a week to recover and we will not see him until then. So to deal with this problem, you three will undergo special training in order to fight them. Somewhere in the forest, one day later, Kakashi led his team to a clearing and explained his special training. Today, you all will learn how to use your chakra effectively, and to do it you have to climb a tree. Climb a tree? Yup, but you are going to climb in a different way. To illustrate his point, Kakashi gathered chakra on his feet and started walking on the tree surface. Naruto's mind. Tree climbing exercise is so easy compared to water walking, but those suppression seals could make it a little bit harder. The purpose of this training is to accumulate the right amount of molded chakra in the right direction, and secondary, to maintain that molded chakra. In a battle, ninja mold chakra all the time and it become difficult to maintain that chakra. After the three genins understood the basic understanding of the exercise, they started the exercise. First, gather chakra at your feet and start walking on the tree. When you are unable to continue, mark it with a kunai. The aim is to reach the top of the tree. Naruto tried it, but to his dismay he slipped after a few steps. Naruto's mind. They are much harder than I thought. Sakura spent little time to reach the top while Naruto and Sasuke still had trouble getting it right. 5 hours later, 7 p.m. Sakura left with Kakashi for lunch after reaching the top of the tree at her first try, leaving Naruto and Sasuke to train non-stop for 5 straight hours. However, with one last push, both managed to reach the top. Noticing that it's dinner time, Sasuke's stomach growled loudly for food. Naruto, do you want to go for dinner? I'm pretty hungry. Sorry Sasuke, but I want to practice longer. I will catch up with you later, alright? Okay, but don't be too late. Naruto then stretched out and took a scroll from his pocket and started writing something. After writing for a while, he tied up the scroll and summoned a pigeon. Then he tied the scroll to the pigeon and let the pigeon fly away. That should satisfy my publisher. Damn them for their insistence of meeting deadlines even though I'm not in town. Naruto shook his head in annoyance but started yawning. But I guess that is a problem for being too successful. Yawn, I think I should take a nap before I go back. However, Naruto's fatigue ensured that he stayed asleep until dawn came. Next day, a lady wearing a pink kimono was walking around the forest to gather some herbs when she saw someone lying on the ground. Upon closer look she realized who it was. The Konoha ninja had fought Zabuza. As she moved to silence her enemy, Naruto had awakened from his slumber. Are you okay? You're going to catch a cold if you sleep here? As Naruto looked at the person, he felt the same chakra he felt during the battle. Oh, I'm fine, Nei-san. By the way, what are you doing so early in the morning? Oh, I'm picking herbs to cure injuries and illness. Looking at his forehead protector, Haku asked, are you a ninja or something? Hi, I'm from Konoha and my name is Uzumaki Naruto. What is your name? The very word Konoha stunned the lady momentarily before regaining her composure and replied. My name is Haku, nice to meet you. It is her. Wonder how she doing all these years. Looks like she have grown into a fine lady after all. I wonder she remembers me. Having known each other names, Haku asked Naruto why he was here so early. But what are you doing here so early in the morning? Training. But why are you training? I want to become stronger. For what reason? I want everyone to recognize my powers and to prove something to someone. Do you have someone that is important to you? Important? What are you trying to say? A person is able to become truly strong when they wish to protect someone they cherish. Do you have one? Remembering those who had helped and recognize him, Naruto nodded before asking the same question to her. What about you, Haku? I used to have a few of them, but I lost contact with them. With Haku in deep thought, Naruto wanted to say something but he noticed something. She still remembers me, damn Sasuke for interrupting. With Sasuke is approaching, Naruto ended the conversation with a hint of his other identity. I think I need to go now, let's meet again sometime, Icy-chan. With that Naruto shunshined to Sasuke's position, leaving a bewildered Haku wondering about Naruto's sentence. After showing Kakashi and Sakura their progress, Team 7 headed to another location for further training. Lake, 9 a.m. Kakashi-sensei, isn't that the same place we fought with Zabuza? That's right. This location is ideal for your further training. Since all of you have learned tree walking, now we will learn to walk on the water. What's the difference between tree walking and walking on water, Kakashi-sensei? That's a good point, Sakura. Both exercises require a constant amount of molded chakra to ensure you stick onto the surface. However, water walking requires you not only to mold constant amount of chakra but it also requires you to regulate the amount of chakra to enable your body to float on the water. This aspect is what makes water walking harder than tree walking. Being eager to impress Sasuke, Sakura immediately gathered chakra and tried to walk on the water. Sasuke-kun, look at mahhhhhhhhh. As soon as Sakura plunged into the water, Sasuke and Naruto started laughing uncontrollably and soon were rolling on the ground. Kakashi began to pull Sakura out of the water and immediately Sakura delivered a hard punch on Naruto, berating his action. Meanwhile in Konoha, a team is being assembled for their next mission. Hokage Tower. Hokage-sama, Team 8 has arrived. Bring them in. As the members of Team 8 assemble in front of the Hokage, Sandame spoke. Team 8, your mission is to find Team 7 who has gone on a mission to Land of the Waves. They have reportedly encountered enemy ninja, changing the mission from a C-ranked mission into an A-ranked mission. After locating Team 7, you're to provide backup for Team 7 until the mission ended. Hi, Tazuna Mansion, 2 days later. After finally completing the training, Team 7 joined Tazuna and his family for dinner. Yippee! We completed the water walking exercise and we can go and guard Tazuna-san already. However, Inari, Tazuna's grandson, was visibly upset about Naruto's optimism and voiced his feelings. Why are you trying so hard that you end up like that? You can't beat Gatu's men like that. No matter how hard you try and say nice things, weak people always lose to strong people and they die. Naruto stood up and spoke. I'm just different, that's all. Hi, I'm different from you who doesn't know any real pain and just play around all the time. Hitting a soft point, Naruto immediately lost his cool and hit back on Inari. That's why you are acting like the main character in a tragedy show and crying? What a cowardly crybaby. Naruto immediately stomped off and left Tazuna house, stunning the rest of people in the house. Sasuke intended to look for Naruto before being stopped by Kakashi. Sasuke, let him go. It will be good for him. Besides, we have visitors. What visitors, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Sakura. Kakashi looked at the ceiling and replied. Kurenai-san, time to show yourself. Soon after, a figure appeared and landed beside Kakashi and 3 other figures appeared at the entrance of dining room. Tazuna-san, I think I should do the introduction. This is Yuhi Kurenai and the other 3 belongs to her team. They are here to provide backup for us. Kurenai shook hands with Tazuna but Tazuna, feeling a little lecherous, began drooling at Kurenai and Kurenai showed Tazuna her typical behavior against such men that led to her nickname of Ice Queen of Konoha. 2 hours later, as Naruto entered the bathroom he noticed someone was already there but it was too late as the person emerged from the bathroom naked. Naruto-san? Why are you doing here? Tsunami-san, can you get some clothes? It's very embarrassing for me. Looking at herself, she realized her naked state and blushed. Gomenasai, Naruto-san, said Tsunami as she grabbed a towel to cover herself. Naruto-san, I must apologize about my son's behavior during dinner. Tsunami-san, it is okay but I want to know why he's like that. I know he is a nice person but his sadness appears on his face. Once there was a man. Tsunami told Naruto about the man who brought Inari confidence and the man who defied Gato till the very end. At the end of the story, Naruto shed a tear and stood up. I promise I will change Inari to the person he used to because I never break my promise. Looking at the blonde ninja had vowed to change Inari, Tsunami felt her heart stopped for a sec. Thank you Naruto-kun. Tsunami-san, what are due? Tsunami dropped her towel and hugged Naruto, leaving Naruto feeling awkward and meanwhile. Mansion balcony. After settling Team 8, Kakashi found Inari and spoke. Can I join you? A slight nod from Inari and Kakashi sat beside Inari and continued. Naruto didn't say that out to spite you. He didn't have parents since he was young or rather that he didn't knew who his parents were. He did not have any friends either. Quote, Inari was surprised how similar his life was to Naruto and slightly regretted his decision to blast at Naruto. But never have I seen him becoming timid, sulky or crying. He always wanted others to recognize him and to do that, he willing to die for it. I believed he's too bored of crying, and the very words he told you might be the very same words he had told himself all day long. That's why he understood the true meaning of being strong. Quote, Kakashi noticed someone approaching behind and step away. Inari looked who the person was. It was none other than Naruto. Inari, However, Inari interrupted and offered his apology. Sorry Naruto-Nisan. It's okay Inari. Kakashi then spoke. Since both of you have apologized, then I think both of you should go to sleep as it is already so late. Both of them went to sleep, but someone was so visibly elated about the incident that she could not sleep. The next morning, Kakashi began to discuss the plan for today with both the teams, but all but one hasn't awakened yet. Team 8 should do recon of the bridge, after which they will proceed back to Tazuna House to prevent any attack on Tazuna's family members. Since Naruto is still asleep, he will guard Inari and Tsunami for the time being. The rest of the Team 7 will proceed to the bridge at the designated time. Kakashi, leaving Naruto behind doesn't sound to me like a good idea in an event of an attack by ninjas. Although he looks unreliable at times, I'm sure he's up to it, Kurenai. So it decided then. Team 8 will depart in 30 minutes time. 30 minutes later, Naruto had already woken up and beginning to wear his clothes when he noticed several chakra spikes and immediately ran out of the house, only to see Inari and Tsunami being held hostage by several ninja, including 2 Chunins. Naruto-Nisan, help me. Damned it, not only I have deal with the 2 Chunins, I still have other genins and crocs to deal it. Using that technique is still chakra consuming. Guess I had to do the hard way then. Yo little kid, why don't you go away and we pretend that you are not here? How about that? Naruto however smirked and said, why don't you all go away and I pretend that all of you are not here? How's that for a change? Infuriated by his statement, Chunins ordered the rest to attack Naruto. However, Naruto stood emotionless before muttering, Kaimon. Kai. In a quick flash, Naruto defeated the underlings, leaving only the Chunins. However, Chunins were not deterred. Nice skill little one, but any move you make I will kill the both of them. You. Naruto suddenly collapsed on ground, leaving 2 Chunins wary about the situation. Inari, who sees an opening, hit his captive at his groin and tries to free his mother. However, the Chunin immediately pull out his kunai and stabs Tsunami. Kawarimi no Justu. The Chunin realized his captive is Naruto. He could not move as Naruto wrapped his enemy with bandages and lifted off the ground before heading back to ground. Kage Buyo. What the AARRRGGGGHHH. Omet Renge. The bleeding Naruto defeated the Chunin easily, but the attack left him vulnerable to the other Chunin, who is now hidden by kicked up dust. Suddenly, Naruto sensed someone headed towards him. Thinking that is the Chunin, he decides to clash head-on. Daiuchu? He realized it was Tsunami that was flung towards him, and as he maneuvers to catch her, Naruto noticed several kunais directed at her. Naruto immediately shielded her from the kunais. Just as I expected, you are weak with women. The bleeding Naruto however gave a weak smile and said, found you. Before the Chunin knew it, his throat was slit by another Naruto. Tsunami-san, are you okay? I'm fine Naruto-kun, you're bleeding. At the same time Team 8 arrived on the scene with Kurenai taking charge. Naruto, what happened? They took Tsunami and Inari as hostage and I managed to defeat them. Since you are here then I can. Before Naruto could finish, he fainted. However, Tsunami managed to catch him before he fell to the ground, but Tsunami's mind becoming increasingly worried. Not because that her father will be danger, but rather a certain blonde who protected her and her son. Tazuna Mansion. Naruto started to stir but couldn't get up because someone was crying on top. Then he realized that it was Tsunami. Tsunami-san, why are you crying? I was scared of losing you. Naruto looked stunned by her confession as Tsunami continued. Every time I see Inari crying at his father's pictures, I feel sad as I didn't do anything. But the moment you came, I see a change in him. At first he was reluctant, but since last night, he has returned to his warm and cheerful personality. Then when I see shielding me from danger, I see the same situation as my husband had encountered. I wanted to do something but still I couldn't do anything. It's okay Tsunami-chan. You see, I'm alright no. Tsunami kissed Naruto on the cheek and Tsunami hugged the stunned Naruto. It didn't last long though as someone entered the room. Okawa-san, how is Naruto NIISSSSSSAAN? Inari, it is not what you think. Naruto quickly released himself from the hug and stammered. Inari, I'm pretty okay now, and where the rest? With an equally unhappy reply, Inari answered in a demanding manner. The creepy guy is at the hall, Naruto Nisan. And by the way, you have some explaining to do with me, Naruto Nisan. Sure. Naruto quickly left to find the creepy guy, or otherwise known as Shino. Shino, what is the situation here? We haven't heard from Team 7 since we came back, and Kurenai-sensei is headed to the bridge to check the situation. Meanwhile, we are setting a defense perimeter around this area in case of an attack. I will head to the bridge to rejoin Team 7. I trust you can handle the situation here? Shino's mind. This Naruto I see now is very different from the Naruto I used to know. Seems that this is his true capability. Shino nodded and Naruto immediately rushed to the scene, hoping nothing bad had happened. Bridge. Naruto reached the edge of the bridge and began to scan the area with his kage bunchins. Almost immediately, information from his clones flooded Naruto's brain, giving him a rough idea what is going on. Kakashi-sensei and Kurenai-san are fighting Zabuza while Sasuke is holding up against Haku. Sakura should still with Tazuna since I sense two stationary objects away from Kakashi's chakra. Better to find Sasuke first to see how he is doing. Having decided, Naruto created a kage bushin and pasted a seal on the back. That kage bushin left and headed to Sakura while Naruto went to find Sasuke. Sasuke vs Haku. Sasuke was barely able to deal with Haku's ever-increasing speed until he realized someone had arrived and almost telepathically started forming hand seals. Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu. Being a large attack, Haku managed to evade Sasuke's attack but find it puzzling why he decided to use a big attack. Why did he use this jutsu? I would have avoided it easily unless… Shit. Haku barely noticed the second Kaden jutsu behind her and managed to limit the damage done to her. Looking at the source of the attack, she realized it was the boy who she met a few days ago. With a burning question to ask the blonde ninja, Haku immediately thought of a plan to incapacitate Sasuke. Sasuke, are you okay? Naruto, what took you so long? I was held back on the way. So time to put plan B into action, Naruto? Hi, let's go. Immediately Naruto and Sasuke splits up and begin throwing kunais at Haku, which she easily deflects. Haku's mind. They must be planning something. I must do something to restrict their movements. Kaden. Housenka no Jutsu. Small fireballs swerves towards Haku, which she evades. However, when she landed she heard a snap. Shit. A wire trap had triggered and restricted her movements. As Sasuke starts to form hand seals, the red eyes had Haku surprised. He has the Sharingan like that copy ninja Kakashi? Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu. Using all her speed, she cuts the wire trap and uses one hand to push her away from the Kaden jutsu. Seeing that she managed to evade the last attack, Sasuke zoomed in for the kill. Die. Haku anticipated the attack and threw a senbon at point-blank range at his neck before moving away from the corpse. Naruto later emerged only to see Sasuke motionless. Sasuke, answer me. No response from the Uchiha boy, but Haku spoke. Nice tactic, especially with your teammate who hid his Sharingan until the last attack. Naruto stood up and looked at Haku, who again spoke. You do realize that he is comatose, right? Guess that you're a lot smarter than I predicted. What is that cold tone? Don't you recognize me? However, without replying, Haku began forming hand seals for her ultimate technique. Yoru no Jutsu. Trapping Naruto with ice mirrors around him, she began throwing senbons at Naruto. As Naruto dodges the senbons, Naruto thought of the situation at hand. Naruto's mind. It is pretty strange that she doesn't recognize me, but I need to deal with this technique first. I will draw her out from mirrors, seeing that the mirrors act as shield for her. Sweden. Tsujiheki. A wall of water surrounds Naruto, protecting him from the senbons. Seeing a chance, Haku immediately came out of the mirror to freeze the water. Quite a turtle, aren't you? I thought someone as smart as you won't. However, she sensed something amiss and tried to return to the mirrors, but it was too late. Doden. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Naruto emerges from the ground below Haku and pulls her down, leaving her head above the ground. Placing chakra restraining seal on her, Naruto then questioned Haku about her past, trying to gather clues about her loss of memories. Icy-chan, do you know Satsuki, Kimaro or Arashi? They are the precious people you knew, right? How do you know Satsuki and Kimaro? But there are no Arashi that I know of. What about the orphanage where you met Arashi? I don't know who you are talking about. I have never been to an orphanage in my entire life. By the looks of it, she doesn't know me based on her reactions. I wonder what could have done to her. No memories, blanked out, of course. There could a mind seal on her. Naruto's hand glowed green and placed it on her head and said, "Sorry about that, Icy-chan, but it seems I need to perform some mind scan on you just to be sure." Sure enough, Naruto found the mind seal and pulled out a scroll and started writing on it. As Naruto forms the necessary hand seals, he said, "Icy-chan, it will hurt a little, so bear with it." What are you trying to erg? Fuin. Kai. Removing chakra restraining seal, Naruto removed her from the ground and placed her gently against a tree. Haku began to stir and saw Naruto and wanted to speak, but the locked-up memories of her past flooded her brain, giving a headache. "Icy-chan, take this ice pack, you will feel better." "Arashi-kun, is that you?" "Hi, but call me Naruto instead." Meanwhile, at the other side of the bridge, Zabuza wasn't faring well when up against two Junins, and he was somewhat concerned about the lack of movement at the other battle. "Damn those Junins, making my life difficult. I hear nothing since a few minutes ago, perhaps it has ended?" However, this distraction left an opening which Kurenai exploited. Megan. Jubaku Satsu. Arg. Genjutsu. Having successfully captured Zabuza, Kurenai moved in for the kill before someone shouted, "Kurenai-san, watch your back." The moment Kurenai found who it was too late. The real Zabuza swung his Zabato at Kurenai and Kurenai closed her eyes in anticipation of the attack. But a clash of metal was heard instead of cutting of flesh. When Kurenai opened her eyes, she saw a dark figure carrying her in bridal style with one hand and the other hand with a katana. Kakashi immediately recognized who the person was and noted his directions by forming hand seals. The dark figure revealed himself and spoke. "Zabuza-san, you are pretty smart, using a Mizu Bushin to attract Kurenai-san and finish off her from behind." Zabuza realized who it was, and before he knew it, Kakashi immobilized Zabuza with a special summoning jutsu. "Kachiyose no jutsu. Kakashi-san, finish him off." Kakashi nodded and forming hand seals for his only original jutsu. Reikuri. Meanwhile, "Sorry Naruto, but I have to go." Sensing danger on Zabuza, Haku quickly shunshined to reach Zabuza on time. With Kakashi's chakra surge, Naruto knew what was going on and quickly reacted by changing into Black Saviour. "Haku, forgive me, but I can't just let you die here." Hiri-Ishin no Jutsu. Throwing the three-pronged kunai at Zabuza's direction, Black Saviour immediately teleported to the area, narrowly pushing Haku out of the way. Kakashi's Reikuri injured Zabuza fatally and he slowly collapsed on the ground and started cursing Black Saviour. "Damn you, Black Saviour, time and time again you foil me. I thought I got rid of you after I instructed others to destroy the orphanage. How could you do that, Zabuza-sama? Tell me you wouldn't." "Of course I did, Baka. He was the one that provided vital information to the Mizukage to foil our coup. Furthermore, the orphanage had a few talented ones, so I want to get one of them to do the dirty work for me." Haku, who is too emotionally distraught to absorb further news, fainted on the spot. "So you teamed up with Orochimaru and placed a mind seal on her while getting the talented ones?" Orochimaru? The mind seal placed on Haku was developed by Konoha with help from the Yamanaka clan, so it is no surprise it must be Orochimaru. Kakashi suddenly realized about something and replied, "No wonder the security at the orphanage was compromised, it was Orochimaru behind the scene." "Kakashi-san, you were one of few ANBUs that escorted the Hokage to Kirigakure when a surprise attack on Resting Point, which happens to be an orphanage." Flashback. Orphanage. The owner welcomes the Hokage and shook hands. "Hokage-sama, it's an honor to meet you." The ninja known as the Professor. "You are too kind. It's my honor to meet such a good Samaritan who helps the homeless and orphaned children. But if possible, Hokage-sama, can you take some of them with you?" "Why? I noticed that some of them had special abilities that you ninja call Kekkei Genki. I hope that Konoha can provide them the environment to nurture them to their full potential." Suddenly a dog-faced Anbu appeared beside Hokage and replied, "Hokage-sama, it is not wise to have any more people following us. We were supposed to keep low profile. Kakashi, we can afford to bring some of them with us. Furthermore, your team is more than able to deal with any threat." "But, Kakashi, that's an order." Meanwhile, a raven-haired girl knocked onto a blonde person clad in dark robes and quickly apologized. "Sumimasen, I did not see you. It is okay. What is your name?" "Hiku." "Then, what is your name?" "You can call me Arashi. Are you from a faraway land?" "Hi, I'm from Konoha." "Konoha? It is a country of leaves?" "No, Hiku-chan. It is a village situated in the country of fire." "Country of fire? Doesn't fire burns away the leaves?" "Hiku-chan, it is not like that." "It is." As they chat along, they got along with other two orphans, Kimaro and Satsuki, whom the four of them became friends very quickly. One day later, the owner had gathered all the orphans and announced who were going to Konoha. After finishing the announcement, the four friends erupted with joy as Hiku, Kimaro and Satsuki were selected to go to Konoha. However, before they could pack up, an explosion rocked the place. "Hiku-chan, we need to go. What about Kimaro and Satsuki?" A black-haired Anbu appeared and replied, "The white-haired girl is with the Hokage, Arashi-san." "What about the boy?" "He." Further explosions rocked the orphanage and both were never to see each other since then. End. As you know, Kakashi, one of the people the white-haired girl had mentioned was Hiku. "So you are Arashi, the person the Hokage insisted on bringing." "Hi, but given the circumstances, please keep it to yourself since this will give the Hokage a lot of trouble." Seeing that he had lost, Zabuza cursed him with his last breath. "Damned you. The original Black Savior covered Zabuza's eyes and silently left the scene to reawake Sasuke while the mist clears. The cloned Black Savior gently put a beet red kunai on the ground. Immediately the blushing kunai thanked Black Savior before appearing beside Kakashi. However, one voice from behind emerged. Kakashi-sensei, what Zabuza said about Black Savior true?" Kakashi realized it was Sakura and replied, "The rumors have it that Black Savior passed crucial information about the coup and the information led to the coup failure. Isn't that right, Black Savior?" However, Black Savior had disappeared from sight. Emerging from the mist, Naruto carried Sasuke to meet up Kakashi with Sakura rushing to help carry Sasuke. As everyone gathered, a short man appeared in front of Zabuza corpse. "I never wanted to pay him the money anyway since ninja are always so expensive. Tazuna, prepare to meet your doom." "That's Gato." When the mist finally cleared, massive numbers of thugs appeared behind him, all with the urge to kill. As Gato prepares to kick away Zabuza, Hiku threw several senbon needles at him, immobilizing and killing him after hitting a vital point. Having awakened, Hiku said, "Zabuza did help me and I don't wish anyone to mistreat him." A hard kick sent lifeless Gato flying to the thugs, pushing some of them into the waters below. With a massive amount of killing intent, Hiku creates several hundred of senbon needles and with a hand motion, needles aimed straight to the thugs, killing all of them instantly. Kakashi invited Hiku as he put his hand and asked Hiku about joining them. "Hiku-san, is it? Would you like to join us? But I was your enemy." Naruto then appeared behind Kakashi and said, "You were our enemy but now we are not." An emotional Hiku then nodded and everyone was happy about the new addition, especially Naruto. 2 weeks later, Tazuna finally completed the bridge and the two teams decided to head back to Konoha. "Naruto, if you keep sticking to Hiku then a lot of your admirers will be very disappointed." "No need to bother about me, Sasuke. Both Hiku and I are good friends and we had lots to talk with." As the teams head back, someone shouted out a question to ask Tazuna. "What should be the name of this bridge, Tazuna-san?" "Oh, I just got a good idea. Why not the Great Naruto Bridge?" 2 days later, Hokage Tower. "Good work on the mission Team 7 and 8. Kakashi and Kurenai, please submit a report about the mission." "What about the girl?" "I will settle that after you submitted the report. For the time being, Uzumaki Naruto is responsible for the girl's well-being." "Hi, can everyone leave the room? I wish to speak to Naruto privately." When the rest of the people left, third Hokage spoke. "Based on the reports I have gathered, you have used your father's signature technique. Is it true that you have mastered it?" Grandpa Hokage, I have learned to use the technique but I have yet to perfect it as it is very chakra exhausting. Since you already learned Hiraishin no Jutsu already, you are eligible to reveal your heritage and take your place as a clan head. Hokage Jiji, I think we should leave it until I became Chunin or at least I'm 16 years old. Why, Naruto? People are still suffering from the Kyuubi incident and I'm not ready to accept such responsibilities yet. Alright then, what about your girlfriend, Haku? She's not my girlfriend. Anyway, she's interested in joining the Anbu since she's had training from a former Anbu. I will take care of the administrative matters for entering Anbu, so you don't worry. Speaking of which, Orochimaru was in contact with this nuke nin I believe. Naruto shrugged his shoulders and replied. It seems that they had something in common at that time and cooperated. However, there were no indications of contact afterwards. Sandame, who didn't expected much, dismissed Naruto quickly. Okay then, you may go now. 30 minutes later, after escaping the Naruto's FaNaTiC fan club, he and Haku reach his own apartment. Man, those girls don't ever give me a break even when I just came back from a mission. Turning the key, a click is heard and as Naruto opened the door, he said. Welcome to my apartment Haku-chan. Make yourself feel comfortable. However, someone happened to in the room. Naruto-kun, Uchiha. A white-haired girl appeared behind the door and said. Naruto-kun, who might that be? She looks familiar. Satsuki-chan, you will never believe who this is. This is Haku-chan. Remember the orphanage? Both Haku and Satsuki stood motionless for a while before Satsuki hugged Haku tightly. It is really you, Haku. Satsuki? Are you Satsuki Kagaya? Satsuki nodded and both girls continued their embrace before Naruto separated them. As they settled down, Naruto started to talk about the aftermath of the incident. However, Haku feels a little jealous of Satsuki as Naruto and Satsuki were making fun of each other throughout the conversation. Satsuki-chan, I thought that you will be on a month-long mission? You miss me, Naruto-kun? No, but, don't worry Naruto-kun, I wouldn't torture my precious. Just say that we finished the mission early. Okay, that means Sayuri is back? Yup, and she is supposed to come here after settling our mission. As luck would have it, the very person in question just happens to burst into the apartment. Satsuki, what are we? Naruto, who's that? Let me do the introduction. This is Haku, Satsuki's long-lost friend and this is Sayuri Uchiha, one of Konoha's finest Anbu. Hajimemashite, Sayuri-san, I look forward working with you in the future. In future? You intend to join Anbu, Haku-san? Hi, then this really calls for a celebration, right? Yippee. 6 months later, since the Wave mission, Haku managed to join Anbu through a series of tests and has become a part of fearsome Anbu platoon called Kekkei Genkei Anbu. Team 7 has improved since then but now another obstacle fraught with danger lies in front of them. Ichiraku Ramen, a teenage girl welcomed their #1 customer as he takes his seat. Naruto-kun, what are you having today? I would like to have the Uzumaki special, Ayame Nichan. As Ayame starts to make ramen, Ayame asks Naruto about his life with his companions. So how's living with 2 members of the Kekkei Genkei Anbu? They're not that scary. It's okay unless Sayuri-chan is with them. So the one that vandalizes the Hokage monument, had cat and mouse chase with several Konoha shinobi, is actually afraid of Sayuri Uchiha? She used to make scary looks on her face when I was little but she kind of changed since Haku-chan came along. She becomes increasingly nice towards me but I still feel uneasy with her. So it seems. Here you go. Uzumaki special with more pork slices. Thank you Ayame Nichan. Tucci who was at the back of shop shouted. Ayame, if we keep giving pork slices for free, we will be out of business. Atu-san, it's for our favorite customer right? As Ayame passed the ramen to Naruto, she noticed someone was behind Naruto and decided to tease him. Naruto, it seems that Sayuri-san has heard everything about what you said just now. The moment Naruto heard Sayuri, he choked immediately and blurted out all the food he had consumed. He quickly cleaned his face and slowly turned around. However, it was not one Naruto thought was behind him. A poof and with the smoke cleared, it was Konohamaru who was laughing very hardly. Ha ha ha, Naruto ni-san is actually afraid of a girl? That's so amusing, so much for being my idol. A boy with snort on his nose and a small girl came and carried Konohamaru to his feet as he rolls on the floor laughing. Konohamaru, You should not be teasing Naruto Nissan. Moegi. Udon, it's so funny but I think I have to go. Feeling the killing intent from Naruto, Konohamaru sped off, with the other two friends trailing behind. Naruto shrugged off the joke placed on him and continued his lunch. Ayame Ni-chan, I need another bowl of ramen and sorry for the mess I caused. Seeing her favorite person apologizing to her, a faint blush appeared on her face but she quickly replied. Don't worry Naruto-kun, I will clean up later. 5 minutes later, with Naruto having finished the dinner, the boy with snort on his nose appeared in front of him, panting. You are Konohamaru's friend, right? Why are you panting? He is being caught by a foreign shinobi. Nani, bring me to his location. As soon as he reached the location, Naruto saw a black guy with some sort of puppet at his back and a nice-looking lady with a fan on her back. Naruto's mind. Based on Hitate, they are Suna ninja. Bring back memories of that Sasori incident. I think I should be diplomatic before getting tough on them as their presence here meant that the Chunin exams are round the corner. Excuse me, but can you put him down? He's my friend. This Gaki here has offended me and I don't intend of putting him down. Furthermore, I intend to kill him for that. The lady then said to the black guy. Kankuro, don't do this. We will be scolded. Kankuro-san, I believe, being our guests in our village, I think you should observe the conduct of a guest, am I right? The pretty blonde kunyachi? The statement made the lady blush and infuriated the black guy. Naruto continued with his statement. However, if you insist of not letting him go. A quick shunshin by Naruto with a kunai at Kankuro's neck. I cannot ensure your safety, Kankuro-san. The quickness of Naruto's movement forces Kankuro to release his grip on Konohamaru. Tamari, Kankuro. Let's go. Looking at the source of the voice, a red-hair boy with a Gould at his back emerges from the tree. Naruto knew who he was and said, so this is the famous genin from Suna. I have been waiting to meet you, Sabaku no Gaara. Kankuro interrupted and shouted, Gaara, but he. A massive killing intent by the Gaara silenced his teammate and the people around. Naruto's mind. So it is true then. He contains the one-tailed beast Shukaku. It looks like the seal was either done poorly or too ineffective to control the beast, which causes the lack of sleep. Anyway, they are worthy adversaries in the Chunin exams and I need to take note of their abilities in case I face them in the future. The one with blonde hair. What's your name? Uzumaki Naruto. As the Suna nins left, Konohamaru tried to get away but Naruto managed to catch him. Konohamaru, I think you have a good explanation about what happened at Ichiraku Ramen. 2 days later, Team 7 training ground. Kakashi-sensei, what's your reason this time? Sumimasen, I just happened to pass by an old lady carrying a lot of things. Killing intent from the 3 genins silenced Kakashi, who went to main topic quickly. Anyway, the Chunin's exam is starting soon and I have already nominated all of you to participate. Although I don't expect any results, I hope you will get a good experience of it. So, report to the academy tomorrow morning for the exams. Hi. Next day, academy. Reaching the 3rd floor of the academy, they realized that there was a commotion about some participants preventing the rest from entering the examination room. However, Team 7 realized the genjutsu and ignored the group. Man, that was some cheap trick by the examiners and some participants. Can believe that they resorted to that. Examiners? They were part of it? Baka Sakura, the ones at the door are actually Chunins. They hanged into their younger self. However, someone interrupted their conversation. The one with black hair. What's your name? As Team 7 turned around, Naruto realized it is which group they belong to. That isn't polite if you have not introduced yourself? Hyuga Neji, Uchiha Sasuke. Then a bushy-browed genin in green spandex interrupted their conversation. Uchiha Sasuke, I want to challenge you. Lee, this is not the time to fight him. Neji, but, quote, Naruto's mind. This fellow is totally brainwashed by Guy-sensei. I hope he don't do that disgusting smile of Guy-sensei. Neji and Tenten dragged him to the examination room. Following them, Team 7 met their other graduating groups. Naruto, it seems that our batch is all here. Yup. Yochoji, Shikamaru. Oh, Naruto's here, so it seems that all of us are present here. As they were discussing among themselves, a silver-haired genin with glasses then told them to keep it down. Who are you anyway? My name is Kabuto Yakushi. This is my 7th attempt for the Chunin exams. 7th attempt? Is the exam so hard? By the looks of it, you are the rookies, so I guess sharing information with you guys will help you in the future. What information, Kabuto-san? I have gathered data about the Chunin exams since I first failed the exam, although some of the information are not complete. So any interested person you all want to know? The Naruto immediately spoke. Do you have anything on Rock Lee, Hyuga Neji of Konoha and Sabaku no Gaara of Suna? As Kabuto took out a pack of cards, he took the top card and applied his chakra on it, showing the information about Rock Lee. Okay, one by one. Let's see. Teammates are Hyuga Neji, and Tenten, and Junin Sensei made a guy. He's taken 20 D-rank missions, and 11 C-rank missions. He is known to be a taijutsu specialist. For Hyuga Neji, his stats are better than Rock Lee, but things to note that he was the top student of his batch. Belongs to the Hyuga clan, which specialize in Jiyuken. A prodigy even by Hyuga standards. Sabaku no Gaara. Teammates are Sabaku no Kankuro, Sabaku no Tamari, and Junin Sensei is Baki. He's taken 8 C rank, 1 B rank mission and 1 B rank mission. It doesn't say anything about his skills, but the thing is that he's come back from every mission without a scratch on him. Smiling, the white-haired genin looked up. Anyone else? He asked, looking around. Sasuke took up the chance. Black Saviour. Black Saviour? But he is not taking the exam anyway. He's thought to be a legend. Hush hush. Although he is not part of the exam, I do have some information about him. He has made numerous appearances around the world, but most frequently around Suna and Konoha. He is said to be on friendly terms on both Suna and Konoha and is thought to be around 16 to 30 years old Junin level ninja. He is probably most famous for stopping the Uchiha Massacre. Naruto's mind. Although he got my age wrongly, that person has too much information about me. I will have to be wary of him in the future. Quieten down, you punks. Suddenly a poof of smoke appeared at the front of the classroom. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm the examiner of the first test of the Chunin selection exam, Morino Ibiki. 45 minutes later, after asserting that no one else decided to leave the exam, Ibiki smirked as he announces the outcome. Since everyone has decided to take the last question, I declared that everyone has passed. All of a sudden a black ball slammed through the window. She threw kunai into the roof and displayed her banner. Proctor of the second exam, Mitarashi Anko. Anko looked around the room and spoke sarcastically. You let 26 teams pass? Aren't you getting soft, Ibiki? Ibiki chuckles as he replies. No, there are just that many stronger candidates this year. Looking the remaining teams left, Anko spoke. The second part of the exam will be held tomorrow. For the place and time, ask your Junin instructor. That's all, dismiss. One day later, Forest of Death. After explaining the rules of the second exam, Anko started passing out forms for the exams while Kiba becomes so arrogant about this exam. This exam is so easy when survival comes to the point. We will deafen. Anko immediately threw the kunai, which skims Kiba's face and causes a small cut. She immediately licked Kiba's blood from the cut and replied, love the taste of fresh blood. I won't be that sure if I were you. Suddenly, a ninja from the grass handed her the kunai she threw by her tongue. Here you go, Proctor. I just thought I would return your kunai. Anko replied with a manic grin. Why thank you. While watching the commotion, Naruto's mind was thinking about the suspicious grass ninja. Naruto's mind. That person's chakra level seems too high for a genin or a potential chunin. Given that both Proctor Anko and Grass Ninja smell similar and Anko being the student of Orochimaru, I guess that the person is probably Orochimaru. But why during the Chunin exam did he make the appearance? There are still too many question marks. I better inform Sandame about this. Naruto immediately made some hand seals and shouted, Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Henja Zarashi, and head for the Hokage Tower. The clone nodded and quickly left for the Hokage Tower. 10 minutes later, Chunin Selection Exam Part 2 start. Proctor Anko, we found 3 bodies and it is strange. Meanwhile, Team 7 quickly dispatches another team and gets the scroll they're looking for. Sasuke, with this scroll we can head for the tower at the middle of the forest to advance to the next stage of the exam. Naruto, although we are lucky to face another team that early on, but the hard part has just begun. However, Naruto detected something and halted the team. Sasuke, don't be too paze. Do you hear that? Hi. It sounds like a snake slithering around. What did you hear, both of you? Someone is tailing us but I don't know where they are. Another voice appeared behind them. No need to look for the person. I'm right here. A sickly person with purple ropes on the waist blended out from the surrounding. 10 minutes later, Hokage Tower. Arashi Kazama wishes to see you immediately, Hokage-sama. Sandame was surprised that it was Naruto but continued his paperwork. Sandame's mind. Naruto? Isn't he at the exams? Let him in. Naruto, why aren't you not at the exam? This is a Kage Bushin. Anyway, I think I saw Orochimaru at the Forest of Death. Orochimaru? Hi. Somewhere around Forest of Death. With Sasuke and Naruto defending Sakura from the mysterious grass ninja, they seemed to be coping well due Sasuke and Naruto's impeccable teamwork. Naruto pulled out a kunai and forced the grass ninja on the defense, pushing him to the back of the tree. Sasuke now. Sharingan Sufusha Sanatachi. Activating the Sharingan, he pulled on wires to blind both grass ninja and Naruto with the tree. Kaden. Ryuka no Jutsu. The immerse flames burned the grass ninja and the Kage Bushin, leaving a very charred corpse behind. Sasuke, did we get him? Naruto appeared from the back of Sasuke. A smirk from Sasuke and immediately pierced the Naruto. Of course not when I'm Naruto. The Naruto oozes out brown mud as the jutsu dispels. Naruto's mind. Orochimaru is after Sasuke? Why? Sasuke drops down from the treetop with Sakura. Naruto, so now what? The grass ninja appeared in front of Naruto. You did a kawarimi with the Uchiha boy right after the attack, nice effort. You don't seem to be the typical grass genin, aren't you? Well, you are a very observant boy and yes, I'm not a grass genin. I'm Orochimaru. Hearing the name, Sakura remember who that person is. Orochimaru? I think I know who's that. He's, quote, one of the legendary Sannin of Konoha. As Sasuke interrupts, the grass ninja peels off the fake face to reveal a sinister snake-like face. I'm impressed, Uchiha boy. I guess Itachi will be very happy to see this. The word, Itachi, fuels Sasuke's rage and almost rushed towards Orochimaru, held back by Naruto. Sasuke, get a grip. You are playing right into his hand. Orochimaru's mind. He has the hatred in his eyes. Using Itachi as the bait was useful after all. Very good, he will be my next container. Somewhere around Forest of Death. Seeing that the situation is too dangerous for Sakura, Naruto decided to keep her safe. Forgive me, Sakura-chan. A quick chop knocked Sakura unconscious, leaving Naruto and Sasuke facing Orochimaru. Ninjin Funin no Jutsu. Placing a seal on Sakura, Sakura seemingly sealed into a scroll which Naruto quickly kept it on his back. I think we should retreat from this area immediately, Sasuke. Agreed, let's go. The duo sped off towards to the tower only to see him again. Nice speed but not fast enough. Kachiyose no Jutsu. A giant snake appeared and dives towards Naruto where he dodges and heads towards Orochimaru. Sasuke, deal with the snake and head for the tower. I will hold him. Naruto, be careful. Turning his attention back to Orochimaru, Naruto prepares his battle stance, motioning Orochimaru to come to him. Come, Sasuke. Kaden. Gukaku no Jutsu. The snake melts under the heat and when Sasuke is about to leave the area, he sees something coming out from the snake's mouth. That's a quick body extension of newly molten Orochimaru blinds Sasuke and his voice rang out. Sasuke-kun, enjoy the power I'm going to bestow you, if you survive. Ha 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 ha. Orochimaru plunges his fangs into Sasuke's neck, leaving a seal as Sasuke screams in pain. Naruto. Sasuke, as Naruto hears the scream from his teammate. What did you do to him? Before Naruto could complete, Orochimaru grabbed him. Gogyo Fuin, Naruto-kun, he received a gift from me. A gift that will make him stronger and eventually come to me for more power. Farewell, Naruto-kun. Slamming Naruto against the ground, Orochimaru left the area quickly as he senses someone familiar pursuing him. Naruto quickly unsealed the additional seal placed by Orochimaru. Gogyu Kaian. The jutsu removed the seal effectively and Naruto pulled out the scroll as he shouted. Ninjin Kaian no Jutsu. The unconscious Sakura appears beside Naruto and tries to wake her up. Sakura-chan, wake up. Naruto? What's going on? Never mind, go look for Sasuke. I think he's hurt. What about you, Naruto? I will rest for a while and then catch up with you. After you found Sasuke, go find a shelter and stay there. We will remain in contact with these radio transmitters. Hi, Naruto. As Sakura left the area, Naruto quickly took out a cloak with a white mask and released all his seal restraints. Naruto's mind. Orochimaru. Meanwhile, Orochimaru slowly merges into the surrounding. He noticed someone approaching and said, Shishibori Anko. The trench-coat-clad Tokubetsu Jonin walks towards half-merged Orochimaru. Orochimaru, you are a S-ranked criminal and I shall kill you even if it cost me my life. Anko pulls him out before pinning him through a kunai. I shall use the jutsu you taught me to kill the both of us. Sojusose no jutsu. Laughter rang from behind Anko. Anko, you are one of Konoha's Tokubetsu Jonin and so don't just use the kenjutsu I taught you so recklessly. With a hand seal, Anko's cursed seal throbs even harder, forcing Anko to collapse to her knees. You came to assassinate the Hokage-sama? No, I don't have the people to do that. I just came to reserve some special ones in the village. Who might be that fellow? He has the abilities of the Uchiha and he will become my successor. Placing his hand on Anko's seal he continued on. I placed a similar seal on him and if he survives, things will be interesting. Two kunais from nowhere flung towards Orochimaru who deflects with ease. However, Anko disappeared from his grasp. Hiraishin no jutsu. Anko looked at the cloaked figure who is holding her and Orochimaru spoke as he found the source of the kunai. So this is the famous Black Saviour I have been hearing all along. It is an honor to meet you. I trust that your former teammate have mentioned about me, right? You are very informed, Black Saviour. No wonder my former organization rates you highly. However, I have to leave, but before I go, let me tell you this. Don't cancel this exam or I will destroy Konoha. Orochimaru disappears from sight. Black Saviour gently let go of Anko. Gomenasai, Chunin Proctor. Anko looked at the cloaked figure and asked him, are you the one who told the Hokage? Hi, so can you direct the Anbu to come for you? Okay, but. A buzz and voice rang from the cloaked figure. I have found Sasuke. Meet me at the clearing with markings of a spiral. The cloaked figure turned around and answered quietly. Hi. Anko heard the whole conversation and asked the cloaked figure. So Black Saviour, have we met before? That's a question I don't think I should answer? Okay. You used Hiraishin to get me out, right? How? The hesitation by Naruto allows Anko to grab the face mask, but Naruto still managed to conceal his face and made his escape. 10 minutes later, after scanning the area, he found the location and entered the enclosure without his cloak. Sakura, how's he? He got a bruise on the neck and his vitals are fluctuating wildly. Naruto looks at the seal but was too tired to do anything. Naruto's mind. Unsealing process and Hiraishin uses too much chakra. I guess I will have to wait until this exam finishes to take a look. Sakura, guard the place while I rest. If anything happens, wake me up. Hi. Next day, Forest of Death. Near the clearing of the Team 7 resting place, 3 sound ninja lay in wait to ambush Team 7 at daybreak. Kin, Zaku. Let's go. Hi. Sakura quickly detects the killing intent and tries to wake Naruto. Naruto. Someone's here. Naruto stirred but did not wake up, leaving Sakura to defend herself. The guy with a weird contraption spoke first. Excuse me, but can you wake up Sasuke? If not, we will take all your lives away. Dosu, judging by her reaction, that's a no. So just finish and be done with it. Sakura quickly triggered a trap which lowers the tree trunks on them. However, Dosu blew it away with his apparatus and heads for Sakura. Konoha Senpu. A green figure appeared nowhere and hit the 3 sound genins away. Who are you? I'm Konoha Green Beast, Rock Lee. Dosu passed the heaven scroll to Zaku and said, Zaku, I leave Sasuke to you. I will deal with this too. Dosu speeds towards Lee and attempts to strike Lee directly only to see him disappear. Kaimon, Kai. As Lee kicks Dosu up in the air, his arm bandages wraps around Dosu and pile drives the both of them towards the ground while spinning rapidly. Omit Renge. However, Zaku detects the fatality of the attack, tries to form hand seals for his technique but was stopped by someone. A now awakened Naruto appeared and restrained Zaku with his arms behind his body. Your techniques are air-based and uses pressure to do damage on your opponents. But what if I break your arms now, will the technique work? A violent twist on both Zaku's arms breaks down with a crack. My arms. Why you? Naruto Shunshin next to Sakura as Lee gets up on his feet. Fuzzy brows. Thank you for defending my teammate. Your name is Naruto, right? Hi. No problem Naruto-kun, but since that you can handle it then I shall stay back then. That female sound genin, if you still want to fight us? Wait, Dosu, you are still alive? The severely injured Dosu moves away from the crater and takes the heavenly scroll from Zaku and said, I will give up this scroll and you will let us go. Is it a fair deal? It is a deal. Dosu passed the scroll to Naruto and the sound genins left. Naruto then, fuzzy brows, take this scroll as a gift of our appreciation. But Naruto-kun, they gave it to you. Don't matter, fuzzy brows, we already have both scrolls. Arigato, Naruto-kun. See you all at the end of this examination. Taking the scroll with him, Lee left to find his teammates while Naruto carries Sasuke to head for the tower. 2 days later, 100 meters away from tower. Naruto, it has been 3 days since Sasuke been unconscious. Even we reach the tower there is no use as the mission is considered complete if all 3 teammates are not incapacitated. Sakura-chan, we can wait until the 5th day of the exam at the outskirts of the tower for him to wake up. Naruto. Sasuke, you have awakened? Naruto gently put down Sasuke but Sasuke stood up albeit weakly. What's the situation? We are now near the tower so I think we should move on. 1 hour later, tower. Reaching the tower, Team 7 proceeded to open the 2 scrolls together which Iruka poofed out. Congrats of making here so far. Iruka-sensei, can you get Kakashi-sensei here? Sasuke requires some medical attention. Okay, give me a minute. Iruka shunshined away and after a few minutes later, Kakashi appeared in front of Team 7. So what's the problem, Naruto? Sasuke was attacked by a person called Orochimaru and left a mark on him. Oh, I see but I can't do anything about it since the exams haven't ended so Sasuke, hang in there? Sasuke could only muster a nod while suppressing the pain from the seal. Then I'm off. Kakashi poofed out of existence and Sasuke grabbed Naruto to the side before turning to Sakura. Sakura, can you get me some water? Hi. Sakura sped to find water with mummers of, Sasuke likes me. Turning back to Naruto, Sasuke spoke. Naruto, tell me what happened. I know that you are keeping something from me. That bruise on your back from my observation gives immense power to you but corrupts your soul. I need that power. To fight Itachi. Sasuke, if fighting Itachi requires you to kill your mom, will you do that? The statement shaken Sasuke badly. Listen Sasuke, we both want to know what is reason behind the massacre and to do this, we must work together. Both of them looked at each other until Sakura came back with water. Naruto. Sasuke? Naruto got up and moved away and said, Gomenasai, I need some quiet time. 2 days later, tower. Hokage, Chunin second exam completed. 21 participants have finished the exam. Based on regulations, we will have a preliminary exam. Hi. Turning around to face the Chunin proctor, Hokage announced his decision on the Chunin exam. Anko, we will proceed the exam as planned. Hi. Arena ground, tower. Seeing all participants were present the Hokage spoke. Congrats of making thus far but due to the number of the participants left, we have to have a preliminary exam to reduce the number of people going to the final stage of the examination. I will let Gecko Hayate to explain the rules of the preliminary exam. Hajimemashite, nice to meet you. Hayate cues before starting his explanation. This is 1-to-1 match and so it will be like a real combat. Only 10 of you will advance to the next level. The winner of each match is determined by me. Another thing, to note that if anyone admits defeat during the match, the other genin wins. The exam will start immediately and hence therefore if anyone feels unwell please leave this place immediately. A hand was raised and it was Kabuto. Kabuto-san, why are you quitting? I don't have the chakra to fight so I quit. Anyone else? Then, let's begin the preliminary exam. An electronic bulletin appears on the wall as the screen guard is pushed away. The screen will display the random names of the 2 genins for each match. Therefore the first match is Sasuke vs Yoroi. Naruto looked at Sasuke and mumbled, "Good luck and try not to use chakra for the time being." The struggling Sasuke could only nod as he takes his place in the match. With everyone else at the stands, Naruto sat down listlessly which earned a punch from Sakura. What are you doing, Baka? You are supposed to cheer for Sasuke. I don't need to. He will come out of it just fine. It is just the matter of how long he takes. Without taking too long, Sasuke immediately defeated the opponent using a new taijutsu created on the spot. Told you, Sakura. He did it after all, although I'm surprised that he created a new taijutsu on the spot. Hayate then announced the next match. The next match is 2 hours later. Naruto was getting very bored when he saw his name finally on the board. Naruto vs Kiba. Finally, Naruto immediately jumped down to the arena while Kiba thanks his stars. Naruto? Lucky me. I should beat him since he was dead last in the academy. However, Shino warned Kiba about their mission with Team 7. Kiba, don't forget that he play a part of killing a Chunin level ninja during the wave mission. Whatever. Hayate then starts the match. Naruto vs Kiba. Hajime. Naruto took out a small pill from his pocket and politely asked Kiba to withdraw. Kiba, I will give you 1 minute to surrender before I make you suffer from a humiliating defeat. As Naruto swallowed the pill, the agitated Kiba immediately launched an attack on Naruto. Akamaru, Jujin Bunshin, consuming a soldier pill and giving another to Akamaru. Akamaru hanged into a clone of Kiba. Gatsuga. Naruto dodges effectively while pulling out several smoke bombs. Being aggressive is good, but too much tends to make mistakes. Kiba, this is your last chance. Do you give up? Never. Sumimasen Kiba, here I go. Throwing the smoke bombs around the arena, the smoke covers the battleground, leaving everyone guessing what's going on. Where's Naruto and Kiba? I can't see from the smoke. Arena. Unable to see Naruto, Kiba used his sense of smell to locate Naruto's location. Naruto, don't think that we can't smell your location. You are. A kunai flew past Kiba before he could complete and immediately detected someone behind him. Hiri-Ishin no Jutsu. A series of quick kicks knocked out Akamaru, and Kiba and Naruto formed hand seals and shouted. Fuuten. Daitopa. The wind cleared the smoke away and Examiner walked towards Kiba to confirm the result. Winner of this round is Uzumaki Naruto. Several genins who knew Naruto were shocked at the speed Naruto finished the match. Was Naruto this good after all? He finished the match within 1 minute and he wasn't even scratched. 2 hours later, Tower. After Dosu Choji match ended, Hayate asked the winners of the round to draw lots to finalize the tournament arrangement. So the tournament will proceed in this following order. Naruto vs Neji, Sasuke vs Gaara, Kankuro vs Shino, Dosu vs Shikamaru and Temari vs winner 4. Hayate continued with the explanation of the next exam. This part of this examination, everyone have an equal chance of promotion even if you lose the match. What do you mean by that? The winner of the tournament does not necessarily mean you will get the promotion automatically, and losing does not mean you lost your promotion chance. So what determines our Chunin promotion? The Hokage and the other examiners will determine whether the participants fulfill the quality of a Chunin through this tournament. You are given 1 month of preparations before the competition starts. If there is nothing, you are dismissed. Naruto silently pulled out a special kunai and flung it near the sound Kunyachi, who is now at an isolated tower. Hiri-Ishin no Jutsu. Your name is Kin, right? I wish to speak to you about something. Smoking his favorite pipe, Sandame sat down with Naruto seated in front of him and started to speak. Using Arashi Kazama to come here is a good cover, but you created another problem for me. What problem? It is good publicity for you. What good publicity? Now I have tons and tons of fangirls trying to ask me why Arashi is here. I knew you would say that, so I prepared something in return for all your troubles. Naruto then pulled out a storage scroll and passed it to Sandame. What is that, Naruto? Oh, this scroll contains the 500 copies of the limited edition of the romance novels, and you are going to announce that Arashi Kazama intends to set up a publishing firm to cater to the high demand of romance novels within the Fire Country. The 500 copies are a token of appreciation by the publisher for the success of this cooperation. Have you discussed with your publisher about this cooperation? Don't worry, it has been taken care of. The only favor I need to ask you is this. Having whispered his request, Hokage agreed to Naruto's plan. Fine then, I will talk to the relevant authorities to settle it. Sandame smiled as he kept the scroll away before looking at him seriously. But back to the main question, you want me to coach you for the finals? Unless you can find me a better person for the job? Sandaime thought for a while before getting an orange book from his desk to Naruto. Naruto's face turned sour as this book reminded him of a sensei who's always late. You're asking me to find Kakashi-sensei? He's teaching Sasuke. How can he teach both of us at the same time? No, if you can find the author of this book and pass this letter to him, he will teach you. Taking a closer look for the name of the author, Naruto spoke. Jiraiya. Do you mean Jiraiya of the Sannin? Hi, but where do I find him? I don't know. He hasn't been found since he left the village, but since Orochimaru is around, he is most likely to be around. But for now, you might want to get Hayate-san to help you for the time being since he's off from the Chunin examinations. Naruto nodded and left the room quietly. However, the Hokage then spoke as a coughing shinobi appeared in front of him. Hayate, other than training Naruto, you have another mission. 1 hour later, Konoha Hospital. As Naruto couldn't find Hayate, he decided to visit Sasuke, who had been sent to the hospital, but before he could visit him, Kakashi stopped him. Kakashi-sensei, where's Sasuke's room? Naruto, Sasuke's room have been closed off and no visitors are allowed. Sensing something is amiss, Naruto decided to test Kakashi indirectly. Is anything wrong with Sasuke? I thought the only concern was the bruise Orochimaru gave him? However, Kakashi gave his usual lazy yet straightforward reply. Nope, just that anything related to Orochimaru is usually given additional attention, so it's just usual procedure. But anyway, Hayate-san asked me to pass you this message. Hayate-sensei? Collecting the message from Kakashi and after reading it, Naruto left the hospital to the designated location with a slight idea of what's going on. 15 minutes later, Training Grounds 4. Having reached the place, Naruto was greeted with a coughing Tokubetsu Jonin who had directed his katana at Naruto. Let's test how good, cough, you have become, Naruto. Naruto smiled as he shunshined away to safety before the familiar clashes of two metal edges are heard all around the training grounds. 5 hours later, with the spar ended in a draw, both sat down and started to talk about each other. Naruto, your movement, cough, is very good, but you tend to move to your right when trying, cough, to escape from an attack. The analytical ability of a Tokubetsu Jonin like Hayate-sensei can never be doubted, but I will improve upon it. But Naruto, you have really, cough, improved ever, cough, since I last coached you, and I have, cough, heard you've been through, cough, very difficult times during the second Chunin exams. Sasuke's been worse though, but I couldn't see him just now in the hospital. Normal procedure considering the, cough, contact with Orochimaru, Naruto. I'm sure he will be, cough, fine. Hayate-sensei, do you mind another spar? The Tokubetsu Jonin quickly put up his both hands and replied. Give me, cough, a break, Naruto. For a week Hayate trained Naruto on improving his basics, but however on one day he didn't appear on the designated training location. 1 week later, Training Ground 4. Naruto had waited for 30 minutes for Hayate, who seemed to be late, however someone appeared in front Naruto. Yo, Naruto. Kakashi-sensei? Why have you come? Oh, Hayate-san is not free today, so you are off today. Naruto was surprised given the assurance that Hayate gave the other day and speculated something's wrong. Naruto's mind. For Kakashi to tell me Hayate-sensei is unavailable and since he's off from the exam, something is going on. Despite the fact, Naruto nodded and left the training ground, looking for a certain Tokubetsu Jonin. 5 hours later, Konoha outskirts. After looking at the destruction caused by Gaara, the two figures began talking with Hayate listening in nearby. As the conversation draws to a close, the former Konoha ninja then spoke. I will clear up the mess. The Suna ninja Baki then replied. No, I will do it. As a soldier from the country of wind's hidden village of sand, I must lend my aid to a comrade. Besides, there is only one mouse. It will be easy. Sensing that he is being discovered, Hayate quickly made his escape with Baki gaining on him. A quick shunshin by Baki followed a quick jab forced Hayate to back off. Oh, isn't this the Chunin examiner? What are you doing out here alone? Seeing that a confrontation is unavoidable, Hayate draws his katana and both sides ready their battle stance. The sudden gust of wind blew across with Hayate taking the initiative. Konoha style. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Several clones of Hayate appeared to attack Baki only to see the real Hayate attack from Light of the Moon and managed to cut into Baki's shoulder armor. However, Baki smirked. Excellent sword technique, this village is full of talented individuals. However, it is easy for a material blade to be stopped but not so with a blade of the wind. Kei's no Yeba. However, a thrown kunai cuts the cheek of Baki with another Hayate, appearing behind Baki. Cage Bushin? Interesting but not good enough. Moving his wind blade to cut the oncoming Hayate, the poof of the Hayate justified his analysis along with the severely cut Hayate on the ground. 5 minutes away from outskirts. Black Saviour laid down the fatally wounded Hayate to assess his condition. Not good, the wind blade broke most of his bones with several internal bleedings. Even with emergency first aid will not help him survive. However, Hayate grabbed Black Saviour's hand running the medical diagnosis. Naruto, that you? Stunned by his comment, Naruto could only nod in response. Hayate breathed deeply and continued. I saw the technique you use after the second Chunin exam, so I knew it was you. Only Yondaimi's legacy could only master it. Trying to hold his tears, Naruto tried to say something but Hayate silenced him with a finger. Hayate-san, Naruto, death is, expected for a, shinobi life. When a Konoha shinobi, dies, he passes on his will of fire, to the younger generation. I will pass you my katana, as a testament of my will of fire, and I hope, you will continue to uphold it. Hayate held out his katana with his unbroken hand. Naruto places his hands to receive the katana. Hayate smiles for the last time as he drops the katana on his hands, and suddenly droplets of rain pelted as if the heaven cried for the passing of a brave and loyal Konoha shinobi.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and do comments.